Welcome, everyone, to People Without Pants. We apologize for being late. We had technical problems. For some reason, my thing loves to default to a different mic now instead of the one that I've only ever used.
And for some reason, my Irish genes are slowly turning into Scottish genes.
I'm not racist enough to know what you're referring to.
I'm just referring to the fact that I'm slowly becoming more and more like Huey, which inevitably means that less and less success is bound to happen.
Which also means you'll be adapted as American in the TV show.
I mean, it does mean I get Jack Quaid, but it means I get Jack
Yeah.
Quaid.
So you did not yet see the series finale of The Boys, correct?
I did not.
Okay. So that means I stayed up late to watch it for nothing. Cool. No, I'm kidding. I was going to watch it anyway. I liked it. I don't know.
I just wasn't like I'm gonna watch it. I'm just not invested in that same way. I guess it doesn't feel like the boys at a certain point. It feels like a story with the boys characters.
It does, like the TV adaptation of Preacher from the same team, it does diverge from the comic quite a bit.
I'm not against divergence. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like we're doing that thing where, oh, how dare you, Zendaya? Like, oh no, stay away from my Spider-Man characters. But
Ginger genocide, or whatever they say.
yeah. Oh no, look at what they've done to my poor innocent Ginger. By the
Look how
way,
they massacred my boy.
we won them. There's been a draft. You lost. You need to accept and move on. No one is contending with your dispute over the rookies.
True. So the reason I brought up The Boys is because tonight we are going to do a deep dive on Garth Ennis and the ongoing war between his two personalities.
Every time I hear about this, I feel like I'm slowly going schizophrenic.
So we have, and by we I mean people on Twitter, and I've adopted it for myself. We have named the two personalities Garth and Ennis. Garth is the one who comes up with all the nuanced, interesting stuff, and Ennis is the one who comes up with the edgy 12-year-old stuff. And both are very omnipresent in Garth Ennis's works.
I mean, I. What does that even mean?
Well, we've talked about this tweet before, but this tweet sums it up very accurately.
I'm not
Garth,
reading this again.
Garth Ennis coming up with a new comic idea. What if the Teen Titans all sucked each other off and got herpes? That'd be so fucking funny, dude. Garth Ennis sitting down to write the comic. These poor fucking kids. They didn't ask for this herpes. They're just kids.
I don't understand. Cause like, one, you had them do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like Stephen King doesn't be like, why are these kids running trains on each other?
Well, he kind of that's actually a bad example because he genuinely doesn't remember writing that. If you
Wait,
ask him now why that scene is in the book, he'll be like, I don't know, man.
I thought Cujo was the one he didn't remember.
That's the one he remembers writing none of, but there are sections of his other books that just showed up and he doesn't remember where he got the idea.
Okay.
Because he went through several periods of drug abuse. Like he'd get sober for a while and then go back and then he'd get sober again. He's been sober for like decades this time, but
I just I can't help but slightly feel about Stephen King the way the early Eminem fans feel about Eminem.
well, what do you mean?
Or like, listen, I'm never saying that someone should get back on harmful substances, okay? But
True.
I am saying that we might not want to listen to you if you don't.
Yeah. No, there's artists like that. Boy
Like,
to you too, Alex.
Oi, like fucking um, what's that? Like Chance the Rapper. He got religious, and everyone was like, ah, all right.
Yeah, that's how I react when people get religious.
Well, it's more every time he put out a fucking album, it was just like more problems
Yeah.
to the point that like he shows up at one point. He's like, no, I got I got divorced. It's different now.
Hey, you know what? Divorce gave us Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, so it's not always a bad thing.
I mean, divorce gave us the Church of England.
That is true. That whole thing exists because Henry VIII got sick of his first wife and wanted to get divorced, and the Pope said, fuck you, no, you can't.
Oh my god. Do you want to know what you could compare that to?
What?
Do you remember that scene from South Park about breaking the rules?
I think so, but they break the rules a lot, so.
No, okay. So it's a dream sequence by Cartman involving 3 people: Tom Brady, Bill Belichick,
I do
and
remember
the
this.
NFL commissioner. You broke
Yeah.
the rules. I didn't break the rules. You broke the rules. I'm the commissioner. I can break the rules. How'd you know I broke the rules?
I did hear about the Scientology speedrun challenge.
Oh my god,
have
bro.
they like locked up all their buildings over that?
Bro, it's not working, and the runs that I've seen are getting more and more elaborate and insane. Did you see? Okay, I've seen they've started going around the cities and listing every homeless person they can find.
Jesus.
I've seen that one. I've seen a fuck ton of Gen Zers all dressed like Naruto clones, and then fucking speed run like this literally through the building.
Is there a canon reason that the Naruto people run like that? Like, is there an actual reason, or is it just stylistic?
I'm gonna give you a little bit of column A, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of column B.
Okay.
What it's gonna really boil down to, if I was to take away all the context, is it looks cool when drawn in a still frame.
True.
So I think that should be the most important thing that we're taking from this. Is this was a fucking manga, and so things are adapted from the media in which they were created for. Manga is a very action-filled comic, and it's hard to get a lot of scenes of motion to be fucking cool. It really is.
Yeah.
So you got these motherfuckers with their arms back jumping from tree to tree and shit. You got a little bit of options to have the scenery surrounding your characters as they're interacting. That's just a useful vehicle. But let's step out of that for a second. The reason in universe is, oh, well, you see, they're relaxing their arm muscles, and then they're able to actually focus more on their running, and yada yada about reaction time. And did you know that if you fight and you keep your muscles loose, it would actually be more effective because of the snap rip? So
They started taking the knobs off the door so people can't get in, but also kind of out. Well, if there's one thing Scientology is known for, it's keeping people locked up without their permission. So, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, but these kids are getting more and more creative. Because have you seen the maps?
Oh, yeah.
The fucking maps, people. Thank you, fucking Gen Zers, bro. Nah, this is where I really get tired of all of these old fuckers complaining anytime there's someone younger than them. These kids got great things going on. Fantastic things.
Yeah, they made Skibbity Toilet. Well, that was Gen Alpha probably, but
I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'll put them all together the way that I'm a millennial and I'm not. Like, who cares?
yeah.
But like,
Goddamn Skibbities.
my God, dude, who cares?
I know, I just like calling them Skibbities.
We
Anyway,
had poops.
So speaking of both elderly people and Catholicism and violence, our topic for the evening is Garth Ennis. Speedrunners put the Jan 6ers to shame. Well, yeah, because they actually are semi-successful.
I mean, to be clear, every time the speedrunners show up, there's like a collective goal, and they seem to strive towards that goal with the misdirection not being a weird offhand coincidence and more being a planned intentional goal. I mean, obviously there were planned intentional goals in Jan 6, but let's be honest, folks, until all the Nazis go and fully admit they're Nazis and admit they were trying to take over the government, we're not really going to have that conversation. I have a bunch of people still acting like that wasn't a coup that failed. Yes, it was. You're all traitors. You all should have been dealt with as traitors are dealt with.
Yeah, it's still a coup even if you fail, guys.
Yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck. Like you tried to like go to the halls of government in session, stop session, and institute what you wanted to be practices. That is a governmental coup, and you're a traitor. Like,
And it wasn't even a cool governmental coup.
it really wasn't. Bro, you fucking painting yourself like a shitty Minnesota Viking? Are you serious?
What was that? The fucking QAnon shaman?
Yeah. And like,
I do kind of like that Nancy Pelosi's desk got shat on just because Nancy Pelosi's kind of a bitch, and that makes me happy to know that she had to wait outside for 10 minutes while someone dealt with that.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like in the hands of some people, there could be a really funny parody movie where, like, do you remember how the Whitest Kids You Know did that Civil War movie?
Yeah.
Like that, but it's fucking Jan 6. It's like a war documentary from the perspective of some hard fighting Kyle Rittenhouse type.
Oh my god, I love
Yeah,
that.
dude, and like you would have like so many great little bits. Like I want that Viking dude. Just give him the voice of like someone doing a Denzel Washington impression from Training Day, bro.
It's a good thing Mike Pence isn't a Scientologist. The thing is that if he were a Scientologist, he would know where Shelley Miscavige is buried. Instead, because he's Christian, he knows where the bodies are buried of all the people who died of AIDS thanks to his negligence as governor of Indiana. Fun fact.
Okay, this is gonna sound weird. I wish he was a Scientologist because then Marty Rathburn would fucking drag this man.
True.
He would fucking drag this man.
Anyway, before we get off on a stun lock making fun of Mike Pence for 2 hours, let's get back to Garth Ennis. So let's learn a little bit about this man.
Please do.
Garth Ennis, which is his real name, no like fucking pen names here.
Wait,
Born January. What?
Did you think that was a fake name, boy?
No, but I figured that Garth was short for something, or he had a middle name, or had a junior at the end, or something.
Not Garth is just like an older name. To be clear, I'm just throwing this out there because I could be silly, and I might be the only one who makes this stupid mistake. Does this guy have the same name as the guy from Wayne's World?
I don't remember what Garth's last name was in Wayne's World.
But is that his name?
Let's
Or is
find
it
out.
Gartha?
Oh no, it was Garth. It's just I don't remember what his last name was.
Yeah, because I think Garth is just like an old, like, I want to say German-esque name.
Yeah, he's Northern Irish, if that makes any difference. But
Well, let me put it this way, bro. It's a bunch of groups that were colonized by the Romans like 20 fucking times. I don't know.
yeah. So anyway, Garth Ennis was born January 16th, 1970 in Northern Ireland. He's known...
I'm sorry, where?
Northern Ireland.
You mean the north of Ireland?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry, just
He
wanted to...
probably agrees with you.
Sorry, just wanted to specify on that one.
Yeah, so he's famous for writing Hellblazer, Preacher, The Punisher, The Boys. That's most of his famous ones. There's a few others in here. Now, this I actually did not know until just 20 minutes ago when I was researching this. So he was raised atheist. And his first ever exposure to the concept of God was as a 6-year-old in primary school, because that's what they call it over in jolly old Europe. So his teacher told the class that God was a being who could see inside their hearts, was always around them, and would ultimately reward or punish them. Ennis described the idea, and I agree with this, as bewildering, strange, and terrifying. He later used this experience in his comic book series Preacher, whose protagonist as a child, it doesn't say that here, but I remember it, is slapped after telling his grandma he finds the concept of God scary. Although the fictional violence in that story was not reflected in Ennis's real life upbringing, his classmates later reassured each other that they all loved God, though Ennis said, "I think I hate him." Ennis later asked his mother about God, and when she asked him what he thought about the idea, he responded, "It sounds kind of stupid," and a statement the adult Ennis clarified was meant to mask his fear. His mother's response, this is such a British fucking response, was, "Well, there you are then." Apparently, he also
I
won
feel like the
a.
way you said that is so crazy.
Well, that's basically what his fucking mom said.
I feel like it's more about, well, there you are then.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Like, well, in like the sense of like, I feel like that's her being like, so why do I give a fuck about something you don't care about, but kid? Like,
true.
I think that's the British way of saying that statement.
He also apparently won second place in an ornithologist club competition. That's cool, I guess. Whatever. That's mildly interesting.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
So when he was 17, he met another famous comic book creative, John McCrea, who met him at his comic book store, and then they wound up collaborating a ton over the years, including on his first project. It was also here that Ennis first met Alan Moore, who advised him to focus on creator-owned work rather than letting comic companies take ownership of his IP. Good advice, by the way, and very well learned, well fought for advice on Alan Moore's part.
Alan Moore, it is really fun when you occasionally see instances of him just wholeheartedly being like, listen, this is a hellscape. I am barely surviving. I need you all to not fall into this trap. Please, no, they're taking me. Oh, God, no. Oh, don't let it happen to you. No.
Well, financially speaking, Alan Moore is doing just fine. However, I'm sure he's rather creatively unsatisfied by some of the things that have been made based off of his work.
When you say financially he's doing just fine, I don't even know how much I'd agree with that.
He's fairly well off.
Well, he's well off for his life, for sure.
Well, let me look it up to make sure, but last I checked, he has a net worth of like a couple million.
Okay, because I mean, like, I didn't think he had enough for even like his kids' lifetimes.
Do I have a source that is not fucking AI, please? Celebrity net worth, for whatever that means, estimates his net worth as being 3 million. I've heard up to 10 million by some sources.
Yeah, but net worth ain't liquid or anything. That's like,
no, but I mean, my point is that
3 million 26's economy, yeah, cool. You have like 30 years.
Well, Alan Moore, like, to his credit, he values his artistic independence so much that he has left several $1 million on the table in the form of movie adaptations of his work. Like, not like Watchmen, for example. If you watch the movie, it says based on the graphic novel illustrated by Dave Gibbons, because he not only won't let them put his name in the credits, he won't take their money either.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think once you told me that I was bitching in a way that was similar to Moore, in that I hate most adaptions that cross the boundary of the medium that something was created on.
Yeah, Alan Moore, like, because people think that he hates comics, he hates superheroes. No, he feels, I wrote that story to be a comic. That is how one should experience that story.
I think there's a couple lines that can be crossed, like the book to movie pipeline or book to TV show pipeline is reasonable to a point.
Yeah.
But beyond that, fuck this, dude. I'm tired of it all.
So what's very interesting about Alan Moore is that, and I'm not sure why, because he normally doesn't even watch the adaptations of his work, like that he is informed that they are happening and he's like, cool. And then they try to send him a check sometimes.
True.
I think he used to take the money like back in the 90s, and then eventually he stopped because they just made too many shitty movies of his work. But for some reason, there was one exception over all these decades, and that was his story for The Man Who Has Everything, the Superman one.
Yes.
So they adapted that story as an episode of Justice League Unlimited, and for some reason, Alan Moore actually watched it and liked it and gave them permission to put his name in the credits. It's the only adaptation of his work that has his name in the credits.
Because it's faithful.
But like other adaptations of work are also faithful, but he's still like, no, thank you, I'm not interested.
No, but JLU as a fucking work is faithful. Like, I think JLU captures the vibe that a cinematic universe has not yet touched. The fantastic, it's not even whimsy anymore. It is possibility made inherent. It is whatever you even think about is not only possible for the options of the story, but for embodiments of characters to come and represent parts of that, for different parts of our psyche to come and show forth through a bunch of time tech and like yada yada fucking ways that I can communicate with someone who was around fucking 100 years ago, and I can communicate with someone who will be here in 200 years. All of this put together, we are in such a fantastic, great time to be a human. And I think Alan really saw that with that, you can make such a good story. You don't have to do shit. You don't have to fucking change things. You can just enjoy stuff.
I just remembered there is 1 second example. Apparently, Alan Moore was also, quote, amused by Saturday Morning Watchmen. You remember that one, right?
Yeah. I get that.
Apparently someone showed it to him and he just like, I don't think he fucking like pissed himself laughing, but he was just like,
I don't know if that's laughing with us or laughing at us, though.
The person who said he was amused by it seemed to imply that he had like genuine appreciation, but I might be wrong.
Well, I just don't know if he's sitting there like, this is how far we've gone. Watchmen Saturday morning.
Well, the whole point is that it's supposed to be silly, so maybe that's why he was like, I get what you're getting at. Actually, come to think of it, there's an episode of The Simpsons where Alan Moore voiced himself.
Yes, I remember this, but I don't.
And there's like a whole scene where he gets pissed that Watchmen Babies exists.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
But I think that was parodying like his actual response to Saturday Morning Watchmen. Art Spiegelman was in that episode too, actually.
Who?
The dude who wrote Mouse. Like when the fight breaks out, he puts on a mouse mask and goes, "Mouse is in the house."
Wait. The guy who did that was the guy who wrote Mouse, like the Nazi book?
Yeah, that's him voicing himself. There was a third one too. Hang on. There was a third like indie comic artist in that episode.
I did not know that this was Also, this is gonna sound really fucking stupid.
Okay.
I know how that book is pronounced. In my head, that's not how you read that.
True.
In my head, that S is silent.
Daniel Close. Or Klaus.
Or Close.
This guy. The guy who wrote Ghost World. He was the third one.
Dinner Close?
Yeah. I don't actually know him. I haven't read Ghost World, but I was trying to remember who the third indie comic artist who guest starred as himself in that episode was.
I don't know. Tits worth the dick about Ghost World.
I
know about Ghost Dog. Wait, no, that's Seance Dog. See, I don't even know shit about Ghost Dog.
What was I? Oh, hearing on. If the DCU can take even 10% of what the animated universe did, it'll lap the MCU. Yeah, that's true. Except for Wonder Man.
Oh my god. Bro, Wonder Man will be smoked. I don't care. Wonder Man will get the fucking smoke. Dude,
no, I know. It's just Wonder Man is like the one thing the MCU is currently doing that I actually give a shit about.
Bro, but like, can I just point out how much we could all just like cream our jeans together as a community if we could get JLU Green Arrow?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. If we, Alex, Oh, I know you're on board for this one. Fucking anti-capitalist JLU Green Arrow. Fucking all y'all care about the rich folks and I gotta protect the poor dudes Green Arrow.
Yeah, the thing that they like 5% gestured at once or twice in the Arrow show that ran for 8 seasons. Yeah.
Like, to talk about the only dude who walks up to the big six, is like, no, fuck you. We're not doing that. Like,
Oh yeah, I love Green Arrow, especially that version of him. But I love pretty much any version of him.
by the way, who do you think are the top 5 in the JL?
In terms of what?
Who are your top 5 in terms of let's say capability, and let's just throw out a couple exclusions. No Kyle Rayner. And people gotta actually exist, so we can't do fucking Soup's imaginary kid.
I mean, if you're talking who do I prefer as the founding leaguers, my favorite lineup is the classic one. Like the classic 7 of them or however many.
I just don't know what Hot Girl really adds to the table.
Oh, I wasn't talking about her. I
Who?
like her as depicted in that show, but I was talking about like the original 7 Justice Leaguers from the comics, like from the 50s.
Doesn't that mean we get Cyborg though?
No, I love Cyborg, but I don't like him as a founding member of the Justice
Okay,
League.
good. I don't want him as a founding member of the JL.
That's something the New 52 invented, and like most things the New 52 invented, it sucks.
It was a terrible idea.
No, in the original comic, which is what Young Justice reflects, by the way, the founding 7 were Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Barry Allen, Flash, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. That's my favorite starting lineup, but then I like when it expands from there.
Okay.
But if we're talking power levels, which I hate fucking doing, but if we're going to talk that for a minute,
well, not like power levels, but like capabilities.
I mean, Superman, Flash, and Green Lantern cover pretty much everything you need. Maybe Manhunter as well.
I would take Manhunter over Lantern, personally.
Yeah. Maybe. Because the problem is, a Green Lantern can do anything. What they usually wind up doing is creating big objects and using them as weapons.
Yeah, but see, this is like every discussion about cops inevitably goes. I understand what they theoretically could do, but in practicality, A-Lab.
Yeah. That's why I prefer the versions where they're not written so cop-like.
But, like, he is assigned to a fucking precinct. I don't know what else to say. Like,
yeah, I know. I just...
Oh.
I suspect... I like Superman, Batman. I'm assuming you meant Wonder Woman, Flash, which I think Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern. I prefer Hal, but John's better for representation. Yeah, I love how Young Justice had it, where the team just gradually grows as time goes on.
Yeah, it's just like you have the first 7 minutes, like, okay, well, we just have more people now. I think, listen, John is great for diversity's sake. However, I want to highlight that if we're going to talk for diversity's sake, give us Hal first, so then you can see how better John is.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the way John's depicted in that cartoon a lot. I don't love other depictions of him as much, but... What?
All I can think of is there's one thing on his depiction in that show that's a little bit...
Which one?
Fucking... Oh my god, when he's wearing his trench coat and his sunglasses walking through the hood and he has to take the fucking shot with the fucking basketball.
I don't even remember that one.
Oh my god.
I've seen the show, but I haven't seen... Well, I've seen every episode at some point, but I haven't, seen every episode a million times, so I don't remember every bit from it. But I believe you that happened.
It's one of those they wanted to show, like, damn, John Jones is in touch with, or not John Jones. What the fuck is his name?
Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart. Weird. But they're like, we have to show Jon Stewart still in touch with his people. So it's like just him walking through the fucking hood.
So before we get back to Ennis, I actually want to talk about this regarding Kyle. What?
Is he really underrated, or is he just a fucking walking Deus Ex Machina?
It depends on which writer and which period of the comics.
Because, like, as I understand it, there are 4 Green Lanterns.
Well, there's actually a lot more than that.
Well, yeah, I know, but you know what I mean.
No, I mean, like, just if we stay on Earth, there's, like, a fuck ton of them.
Yeah, but, like, I don't care about a lot of them. Like, I know there's that, like, Asian woman after John, and, like...
There's the one who carries a gun just in case he loses his power ring.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Yeah. So anyway, what I was getting at, so I'm reading the DC Marvel Omnibus, right? And each story is kind of, like, because of when it's from, it tends to reflect what was going on in the comics at that time.
Sure.
So it's a fun little time capsule of when it's from.
Sure.
Like, you know, the 70s era Superman Spider-Man one. Oh, Superman works at the Daily Planet TV network because that's what they had him doing in the 70s.
Whoa. That's so modern and hip.
Yeah, it's just funny because everyone forgets that he used to do that. It's also really funny to see Peter Parker wearing, like, bell-bottom jeans with heeled boots because it's 1976. But
bell-bottoms are trash and always wear trash.
Yeah. Anyway, so last night, or the other night, I was reading the Silver Surfer Green Lantern crossover, which is from the 90s. And because it's from the 90s, not only is Kyle Rayner the Green Lantern we're focusing on, but Hal Jordan is still Parallax, and he's like one of the antagonists of the comic and everything.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was going on still in 1996.
I remember.
Or, most of them aren't that noticeable, but then you'll get... Oh, like, so the first Batman Punisher crossover is John Paul Valley Batman.
What?
Because it was written during that brief little 1.5 year period where John Paul Valley was Batman.
I don't think I'm familiar with this.
Nightfall, you know, Bane breaks Batman's back.
Oh,
Azrael
yeah, I just don't remember
over.
the name John Paul Valley.
Azrael is probably what you know him as.
Oh, yes, okay.
So it's funny to see that was the first Batman Punisher crossover, and then it's also funny that in the next one, which was like a year later, by this point Bruce Wayne was back, and Punisher obviously doesn't know that it's a different guy in the suit. All he knows is that Batman's whole fighting style is totally different, and like his inner monologue is noting that, like, this guy fights really differently than he did last time.
Sure.
Like last time he was all rage and unfocused. This is way different. He's got a lot more technique. Yeah, it's interesting little time capsule of 1994 or whatever. Anyway, Garth Ennis. Fucking. So.
Hey, listen, it's all right. We don't got to stick purely on topic, but as long as we have something to come back to.
Yeah. So I didn't know this. He began his professional comics writing career on his 19th birthday with the series Troubled Souls in the British anthology Crisis. Britain's got a lot of anthology comics, fucking like 2000 AD and all those.
I mean, Britain's just got a lot of anthologies in general, actually.
Yeah, in fact, 2000 AD is brought up right here because that was one of his later jobs. In fact, he took over from the creator of Judge Dredd. I didn't realize he took over straight from John Wagner. I don't know how he fucking anglicizes it, but
I mean, let me put it this way: you're probably a racist if you say Wagner. So
maybe. So right here is our first sign of what I call Ennis's takeover. All right.
I don't know, man. I think we're skipping a little quickly.
Well, right now we're just going through like the relatively obscure British stuff he's written.
Well, no, I'm more saying Sounds to me like Garth is a scared ass motherfucking child.
He was. Now less so.
I mean, because like we like talked about that story with his mom, but I don't know if we really fucking hit the nail on the head in that. Like, the kid clearly likes to think about things beyond his control, and almost seems to get caught up in the fantasy of it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people do when they're kids and they discover God being everywhere and omnipresent.
Yeah, and he's 6 too. Like he's not. It's not like he's 13 or 14. You know.
By the way, just a random thing. Do you ever think that like the divination of Santa Claus has resulted in like some of the treatment people give to religion in America?
Possibly.
Just because like the things you mentioned that are scary to a kid about God are essentially what you tell a kid about Santa.
There are kids who are pants shitting terrified of Santa for that very reason.
Well, I just mean in terms of like instilling in them at a young age the awesome power of something. But
I've heard people make this argument. You're not entirely wrong.
instead of doing God, we're just selling a fat guy.
Yeah. I mean, you're not entirely wrong. There are parents who feel like they might be fucking setting their kids down a bad path by teaching them magic.
Well, no, I don't think it's teaching them magic. I do think that Santa's a pseudo-religious figure, though.
Yeah.
And like, who's that help?
So this is this interests me here.
What do we got?
So okay, so he starts off with Troubled Souls in the Crisis thing.
Yep.
As to why Ennis chose to write Troubled Souls as his debut work, he explained, it was the kind of thing that was doing well at the time. I ought to be completely clear and say that with hindsight, what Troubled Souls really represented was naked ambition. It was a direct attempt to get published, and that was the road that seemed most likely to lead me to success. I respect his honesty. Another series for Crisis was True Faith, a religious satire inspired by his school days. A collected edition was released in 1990, but a series of complaints from churches and religious groups led to it being quickly withdrawn from sale, and then it was republished in 97 by Vertigo. This is why I said this is Ennis taking over. The plot follows an atheist teenager attending Christian school. After publicly insulting his classmates' religion to get back at a girl who didn't return his romantic interest, I'm paraphrasing, of course, the boy attracts the attention of a maltheist and is coerced into helping him murder clergy and bomb churches. Following the death of the maltheist, the book ends with the atheistic hero willingly carrying out a shooting at his Christian school. In the introduction to the Vertigo edition, Ennis described this as wish fulfillment.
That is just pure edge.
Yeah, that's Ennis. Garth writes Punisher. Ennis writes True Faith.
See, I don't know, guy. What? Okay. Okay, I'm hearing out the case. I'm not understanding the separation yet. It just sounds to me like Garth is an edgy dude.
I have a visual example of it to pull up in a bit. So he starts writing for Judge Dredd. He moves to the U.S. eventually. He says afterward, he briefly returned to the UK to write a Judge Dredd story, and then said afterward, there's not much hope of his returning to Dredd as he was generally not happy with his run. Quote, I'm too close to Dredd. I like him too much. I can't tamper with the formula, nor can I take the piss the way I do with superheroes.
Fair.
In 91, he takes over Hellblazer, which he writes till 94. During that time is when he starts working with Steve Dillon, who would later be his artist on Preacher and a bunch of other stuff. It kind of fucking glosses over a lot of this because it's just Wikipedia. But yeah, Preacher ran for like 5 years, has been cited as his landmark work. Its plot concerns, well, we know what fucking Preacher's plot is. Uh,
What do you mean we know what it is?
it got a very famous TV adaptation that ran for 4 seasons. I think it's reasonable to assume that people know fucking Preacher.
It is not reasonable to assume. We do not assume.
Okay, Preacher is about a preacher who gets supernatural powers in the form of the Word of God, who begins a literal search for God to make him answer for the sins of his creation, basically. It's got Western and horror shit thrown in there, humor, religious satire, fucking all that. Got adapted into a TV show, as it mentions here. During this time, he did Hitman, which is another one of his big famous ones, which has finally got a fucking collected edition I can find. With the exception of a reverent depiction of Superman, more on that later, Ennis's writing on Hitman was known for portraying superheroes as ridiculous, a characteristic commonly found in his material involving such characters. He did a run on The Authority, fucking Midnighter. Okay, so he did a bunch of Vertigo stuff. His first Marvel work was the Elseworlds, or they call it a What If, the one-shot Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. He quit writing for Marvel after completing this because apparently the dialogue had been altered without his consultation, which is fair.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah. After the end of Hitman, he was again offered the chance to write Punisher, and I guess he just decided that he could, if he had enough creative control, he could say yes.
True.
The initial 12-issue miniseries was done by him and Steve Dillon, who then illustrated much of the subsequent 37-issue run of Marvel Knights Punisher. That was kind of the precursor to Max. Now here's Max. No longer finding violence comedic in light of 9/11, Ennis relaunched the Punisher under the Max imprint, allowing for darker stories. His 60-issue run was released concurrently with several Ennis-penned miniseries such as Born and Barracuda, and the one-shots The End, The Cell, and The Tiger. I've read all 3 of them. They're all great. Especially
Barracuda
The
does
End.
look like a slave.
He does, and I think that's by accident.
I know. I don't know if that's a point in his favor or just edgy white dudes having tunnel vision occasionally.
I think that's what it is. I think he just designed a character, and I mean, who fucking knows whose idea it was to even make Barracuda look like that? That might have come entirely from the artist, Goran Parlov.
Like, listen, I do understand the actions the character takes. I should not look at Barracuda and have my first thought be like, I'm going to drop the soap. This is a problem. Oh, no.
Actually, it's appropriate that that's your first thought, because among his many horrific atrocities, that is one of them.
I know, but you should not think that upon seeing him.
For those of you who have not read Punisher Max, can I get a bigger... Here we go. This is good enough. This is what Barracuda looks like. Though normally he's less fucked up looking, because this is him after a fight with Castle. So normally he doesn't have the eye patch, is my point.
Let me get it. Yeah. Let me get it from a different angle, because, like, specifically, every time I see this fucker, it's with a goofy ass smile with his gold fucking teeth, out here looking like, oh, you a pretty one.
Like, yeah. Go away. Here's another one. This is a cover, granted, so it doesn't look quite the same as it does in the art, but good enough.
Bro, it looks like John Coffey was in Sinners. Like,
well, yeah, actually. So, does it get mentioned anywhere here? Yeah. So, the 2008 Punisher movie, Punisher Warzone, was very obviously like wears its influence on its sleeve based on the Max series. And it doesn't mention it here, but they considered doing a sequel to it at one point, and one of the ideas they had was, oh shit, imagine if we got Michael Clark Duncan as Barracuda. Unfortunately, that never arose because, one, the movie didn't get a sequel, and two, Michael Clark Duncan died 3 years later, but...
The champ!
Yeah, he was fucking great as Kingpin. He would have been great as Barracuda.
I prefer a white Kingpin.
I'm not. I agree, but Michael Clark Duncan was so good in that role that I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll take it.
I know this is me projecting something and probably being a little Dwayne McDuffie about the character, but I just like Kingpin being like a white corporate monster who can occasionally like just fade into, oh no, now I'm just a white dude who swings on you. You forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, no, you're correct. It's just because Michael Clark Duncan was such a good actor that you could hand him anything and he would give a good performance.
Yeah.
Like the movie he played Daredevil in, or Kingpin in Daredevil, was fucking dog shit. The movie overall was terrible, and then way at the bottom of the movie is Michael Clark Duncan carrying the movie on his fucking back. Like, any scene with him in it is fantastic, and any scene without him in it is shit.
To be clear, we're talking about Affleck?
Yes. And if you're going to say that movie's not that bad, watch it again.
It's not that I don't think it's that bad. It's just like... I feel... Like, what... To be clear, what standard are you saying it's bad to? A superhero movie standard or a movie standard?
Both.
I don't think the superhero movie standard existed to a point that we can really be like, this is what it should be.
That's true, and I did keep that in mind while judging it, but I also can't help but notice that it sucks. It has stupid action scenes. It has a rather wooden romance between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, which is ironic in hindsight. It has a pretty shitty handle on Daredevil as a character.
Fair.
It did have, as Alex is bringing up here, I don't remember him a whole lot in that movie. I really just remember Bullseye and Elektra. Bullseye, played by Colin Farrell, was also pretty good in that movie. It does have an awful fucking soundtrack, but then again, most superhero movies from the early 2000s did, so I can't judge it as hard on that. The Elektra spin-off movie was truly fucking heinous. It makes Daredevil look like the goddamn Godfather. I've heard the director's cut of Daredevil is notably better, but I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen it.
I just remember at the beginning, during the first scene with him doing Daredevil shit, he's this martial arts badass who can kick the shit out of anybody, but also apparently his hearing is so sensitive that just being in a subway tunnel can fuck him up so bad that the bad guy almost wins. Like, this random street thug almost kicks his ass.
Okay, that's a good criticism.
And in that same scene, he then kills that fucking guy, which is not a thing Daredevil does.
But it's the thing he should do.
Well, true, but... And it's not like... Because Daredevil floats back and forth on whether or not he should kill, like, the Kingpin or Bullseye or whatever. That makes sense. This is some random street thug he could just leave for the cops, and instead he just, like... He doesn't literally toss him into the path of the oncoming train, but he basically does. So apparently his hearing and everything is so sensitive that he has to sleep in a sensory deprivation tank, which then begs the question of how the fuck does he have a sensory deprivation tank when he has, like, very little money?
Huh.
That's a problem with superhero fiction in general, but it sticks out with Daredevil because no other version of him that I'm aware of depicts him as needing to sleep in a tank.
I think they just like... Maybe Affleck just likes scripts that involve sensory deprivation tanks, like The Accountant.
Yeah, and this was way before The Accountant, too, which is really funny. In the movie, it didn't seem like he's starved for cash. Yeah, that's a problem. Daredevil's supposed to be like constantly on the verge of bankruptcy because of how he conducts his law business.
I mean, he still has a law business, though.
He does, but like this is something the comics are more explicit about, is that he refuses to ever defend someone who's guilty. And he knows if they're guilty because he can hear heartbeats, so he knows if someone's lying to him. So because he only ever takes genuinely innocent clients, that means he doesn't take many fucking clients. And the ones he does don't tend to have much money to pay him up front.
I'm just throwing this out there. I could fucking lie to Daredevil. Fuck all that. You can hear my heartbeat shit, bro. I'll lie to myself. What are you going to do now?
The reason he's not Starved for Cash in Born Again is because he's working at a fancy law firm in Born Again. He has given up Nelson and Murdoch. And Page, I guess. It's weird that they threw Karen's name on there, because Karen is not an attorney, but you know what? Whatever.
Nickels and gum.
I was talking about, Michael Clark Duncan, Garth Ennis. So, 2008, he ends his 5-year run on Punisher Max, and writes a thing about Phantom Eagle, which I've never read, but that sounds cool.
You say Phantom Eagle?
Yeah, Phantom Eagle. World War II aviator guy.
So, it's OG Nick Fury?
Different, because he's like a fighter pilot type of guy.
I thought that's what OG Nick Fury was.
No, Fury was always a ground soldier.
Oh, who are those DC guys who are definitely not the Tuskegee Airmen?
The Blackhawks?
Yeah.
Also, I was wrong. The more famous version of Phantom Eagle is a World War I pilot.
Oh, that's a whole different thing.
Wait, actually, hang on. This says World War II. Yeah, here we go. The second was a World War I pilot. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Garth Ennis grew up on like war and military comics and not superhero shit, which frankly you can tell when you read his stuff. Somewhere along the way, he also wrote, despite his general disdain for superheroes, he has written for Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Hulk, and Thor. I know of his Thor comic. His Thor comic is actually rather infamous.
Why?
1, because it's unnecessarily violent. 2, because it kind of sucks.
I mean, you say unnecessarily violent. I feel like the Prince of Asgard should be violent.
It's not Thor who's being violent. It's the villains in the comic who are. And it's like, all right, yeah, we get that conquerors from another realm would be chopping people up. But, like, it's a Thor comic full of Marvel heroes. We don't really need to see dismemberments on screen type of thing.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree. The bigger problem for most people is not the violence. It's that it kind of sucks.
Okay, that I can get on board with.
I've only like flipped through it, but I remember one thing from it was that like a group of zombified fucking people just apparently off screen takes down the entire Avengers team. Like, come the fuck on, man. Like, you're telling me a bunch of mindless zombies defeated like Iron Man and Captain America? Like, come on.
I could see Cap getting taken.
Taken temporarily, but then he'd break out and steal back his shield and fight his way through. Like, he'd do the Cap thing. But they all get sidelined off screen so that Thor can be the hero.
Yeah, but they're zombies. I could see him just getting fucking offhand bit.
Maybe they weren't zombies, but my point is like a bunch of mindless fucking drones. Like, not skilled Asgardian warriors.
Okay.
And yeah, here is the other thing I love Ennis for is his Nick Fury stories. These stories stripped super spy Fury of his science fiction trappings in favor of military and CIA situations, including a focus on the First Indochina War. I've read this comic. It's called Fury, My War Gone By, and it's one of my favorite comics I've ever read in my entire life.
Just watching Nick Fury talk about the Indochina War?
No, that's just one chapter of it. It follows Nick Fury.
Fury was still white, right?
Yeah, this is old-fashioned, like... It's not really 616 universe, but it's kind of aesthetically based on it. But yeah, this is like white Nick Fury, like shit-talking gunslinger Nick Fury.
This is essentially Cecil with a gun.
Honestly, no, because this version of him doesn't even have shield. Really, he's just a CIA guy.
Okay.
Like there's no now maybe like off screen he's doing shield shit or whatever, but in this particular 12 issue story, he's just doing CIA shit, like real life fucking
Nick
grunt
Fury?
work. What?
Agent Coulson ass Nick Fury.
Yes, but unlike Coulson, no fucking like high tech anything. Like he's just basically the one lingering sci-fi element is the fact that Fury ages weirdly slowly.
Why is that?
Well, in the comic, it's because he was given the Infinity Formula, which is a drug that slows your aging. In the Max comic, it's, hey, don't worry about it, get back to the story.
Fair.
But he clearly, this version did fight in World War II because he opens, like, the framing device is him, like, recording his thoughts into, like, basically a diary, like a tape recorder. And then we get flashbacks of the stories he's telling.
Sure.
And he opens the recording with, my name is Colonel Nicholas J. Fury. I've had a bullet in my head since 1944.
I mean, to be fair, he could have not fought in World War II and just been a really sad son of a bitch.
True. I kind of interpreted it as like, oh, he was one of those kids who lied about his age, so he went to World War II at age like 14.
I got a couple relatives like that.
Normally it wasn't as young as 14, but yeah.
I mean,
it was usually more like 16.
I've seen some variants.
True.
When it came to fighting Nazis?
Yeah, they used to back in like the 19th and 18th centuries, they used to have drummer boys. Like I looked it up once out of curiosity, who's the youngest ever Medal of Honor recipient, and it was one of the drummer boys in like the Civil War who was like 11.
I mean, drummer boys are crazy. I mean, realistically, they're not doing much to help.
Well, this kid did. I think it was like they came under fire, and rather than just keep drumming, he actually like ran out and dragged a wounded man to safety or something. Like it was a relatively minor story, but
what you're saying is he didn't do his one job?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe his drum got fucking busted. I don't know, man. The point is that he got a Medal of Honor at age 11.
Okay, but if an African soldier picks up an AK, suddenly he's a villain.
Yeah, suddenly that's really fucking different, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he doesn't get a fucking Medal of Honor. No, I don't.
Guerrilla warfare's cool as fuck when the Revolutionary War soldiers did it, but then when other soldiers do it, suddenly it's not so great, is it?
It doesn't count anymore if anyone else does it, huh?
Anyway, Fury, My War Gone By, like it's him all throughout the 20th century. So the first chapter is French Indochina in 1954, but then like, oh, then there's some Vietnam stuff. Oh, here's Nicaragua in the 80s. Oh, here's some like 90s era fucking Kuwait shit. Like,
are you telling me Nick Fury was selling cocaine?
No, he personally was not. Though he,
okay,
in hindsight,
Nick Fury was selling cocaine. That's what you're telling me.
No, what he recognizes, if not at the time, then in hindsight, was that it was a scam to cover for other people selling cocaine. But he was lied to about why he was there.
Bro, I don't like. You don't have to be the dude handing the cocaine to the other dude to be helping sell cocaine.
Oh, yeah, the comic does not shy away from the moral ambiguity of the things Fury took part in. Don't worry. The whole fucking comic is about how what the CIA does is fucking evil and not so different from what our enemies do.
We're not so different, you and I, Mr.
Fleming. There's a scene. I'll go off on this little tangent. So one of the little chapters, it's actually a 2-issue chapter, is Fury in Vietnam working with pre-Punisher Frank Castle, actually.
Oh, that's fun.
Like 22-year-old Marine sniper Frank Castle.
Non-traumatized Frank Castle?
I mean, he's still a little traumatized because he's been in Vietnam for a while, but yeah, this is before his, like this, if you do the math, this is probably before his son is even born. Because it's like 1971, so. Like, yeah, I don't think he even has both of his kids yet. That's how early this is.
Pre-Zazzy Frank Castle?
Well, he had his oldest kid, not his youngest.
Do you remember when people used to say that?
Yes.
What happened to that?
You still hear it every so often.
Zam, Zazzy? Like, what
Anyway,
happened to that?
so Fury's mission is to assassinate this particular Vietnamese general. Or specifically, the mission is Castle takes the shot. Fury needs to identify him because Fury met this guy back in Chapter 1 in French Indochina, so he's the only guy who knows his face. Because he's like reclusive, because he's the general and everything. So they go in to kill this guy. He gets all fucked up. They get captured. They break out. Big gunfight ensues. And there's this scene where when they're captive and the general is trying to talk to them. And he says, like, I don't remember the whole conversation, but he says somewhere in there, like, I have no illusions about what it is I do. I understand that I've guaranteed myself a place in hell, and I've done it for the good of my country.
I mean, that's a cool military line, but it depends on what he did.
I mean, he is a fucking, like, NVA general, so yeah, they probably fucking torched some villages full of innocent people. Like,
I mean, that's not really for the good of your country, bro. You did it for a sphere of influence war.
I know. We don't know what he's... the point is, he sees it as... Anyway, fuck that. They... Punisher and Fury... Not Punisher. Castle and Fury, they break out, the big-ass gunfight, and Castle takes the shot, and the bullet goes like this. It goes in one side of the guy's neck, out the other. And...
what was this guy's name?
What's this general's name? Hang on.
It's important.
Yeah. Fury, my war gone by. Thank you. Can I get what the fucking soldier's name was, please? Well, why is it important that you know his name?
I have to know.
Okay.
You'll understand after I tell you.
General Letrongyap.
We're Letrongyap. We carry the flame.
Well, hang on.
Shot by Nick Fury.
Actually, he was technically shot by Castle. And he wasn't shot the way Charlie Kirk was. It literally went in, out. So the fight is crazy, so they have to fucking bail out. But they rightfully assume that guy is dead because he got shot through the fucking throat with a sniper rifle. The story goes on, decades pass. And eventually, like near the end of the series, it's like the 90s, maybe even the 2000s. And Fury is back home in DC to attend the funeral of one of the other Army guys that he worked with throughout the whole series. Like, Army intelligence guy.
As it be.
Yeah, so he goes to the guy's funeral, and he's all depressed because everything they fought for was bullshit, basically.
Where's my country gone and all that nonsense?
It's not even where's my country gone. It's more like where was the country I thought was here all along.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, where my country gone?
So Fury, while he's in DC, goes to the Vietnam Memorial, and he's standing there looking at the names. And then suddenly he hears a voice behind him who approaches him, and he turns around, and it's General Giap, the Vietnamese general. Much older, but still alive, wearing a scarf. And he's like, what the fuck? And he pulls down his scarf to show two matching scars, one on each side of his neck. But apparently he fucking survived.
Does he, like, get violent?
No. The two of them just sit down on the bench together and have a pleasant conversation. Well, not pleasant, but a cordial conversation about the fact that they were both dragged into a war they didn't fully understand, were party to fucked up things, and it meant jack shit in the end. And then they just shake hands and part as, like, friends.
Weird.
Yeah, it's a lot better when you can actually read all the shit they say, because I didn't memorize all the fucking dialogue.
No, like I get it. It's just like, how do I put it? I understand that narrative. I think it's cool in a romantic sense of like the soldiers accepting, and I shared the battlefield with this man. But like,
yeah,
it was a fucking useless war. Y'all both killed a bunch of each other's friends. There's nothing good about this at all.
Well, yeah, that's what they're saying is like we did all this fucked up shit, and we not only did we gain nothing good was brought about from it. The whole thing was a waste.
Okay.
Like they're both kind of lamenting the fact that their lives became this.
Fair.
In fact, one of the really recent Punisher comics, do I have it? Get Fury, yeah. Punisher Get Fury, General Giap appears again and again in the present as the framing device telling the story. And he's this very like polite, kind of charming old Vietnamese man who smiles all the time, but he has this fucked up history. And he's telling the story to like a journalist, and he kind of says somewhere in the end, he says some comment about like, I understand that I took actions that I'll have to answer for when I go to hell.
True.
It's a fucking awesome series. I cannot. If you can only read one thing Garth Ennis wrote, like one short series, that is, read Fury My War Gone By.
It shouldn't be Teen Titans?
No, he never wrote Teen Titans. That was just a meme.
But the herpes.
Yeah, I know. So, anyway, this is not entirely chronological order because they're separating it into which company. But yeah, he wrote a bunch of fucking indie stuff. Most notably, The Boys.
The Boys.
Which, as they mention here, got adapted into TV series.
How has that never been a joke?
You're right. I'm surprised they never did that.
Yeah, it's kind of right there.
Yeah, so this is just listing off a bunch of stuff he wrote. Apparently, he at one point, Ennis launched a Kickstarter to crowdfund a children's book called Earth, but he couldn't secure a children's book publisher because it ends with the main character getting eaten by a fucking monster, so he had it published by Dynamite instead.
Wait, what?
Dynamite is the company that did The Boys and everything.
No, but like, I don't. Since when do children's stories have to be happy at them?
I don't know if it was the unhappy ending or the fact that it was violent, because it doesn't really say here.
Okay.
So this is where Garth Ennis becomes interesting to me.
I think I have a sciatic nerve problem. Go on.
Influences and views on comics. Ennis has explained that as an avid reader of British war comics during his formative years, he didn't read superhero comics until his late teens, at which point he found them ridiculous, although he frequently cites mid-'80s superhero material among his influences. For instance, he noted that the first American comic he read in its entirety and appreciated was Dark Knight Returns. He cited, which is by Frank Miller. Frank Miller also wrote Daredevil for a while. Ennis has cited Miller's portrayal of Nick Fury in one of the Elektra comics as his model for writing Fury. He said he was blown away by Miller, as Dark Knight Returns was the first time he encountered a comic writer who approached his work like a novelist. While Ennis was already interested in some form of creative profession, Miller's material and other mid-'80s mature readers' comics like Swamp Thing and Love and Rockets inspired him to look into specifically writing comics. Despite being influenced by superhero material and having written a number of hero stories both for and outside Marvel and DC, Ennis is noted for subverting the genre and mocking the characters in his work. For example, the 95 one-shot Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, in which Punisher kills every single hero and villain on Earth. As a World War II aficionado, Ennis also said he finds characters like Captain America borderline offensive, because to me the reality of World War II was very human people, ordinary flesh and blood guys who slogged it out in miserable flooded foxholes. So adding some fantasy superhero narrative always annoyed me a little bit.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's why I liked in the first Captain America movie when they have that big ass montage of him fighting and they show that, like, oh no, Captain America was in the trenches with them. He wasn't in a fancy tent just because he's Captain America.
No, but like, it doesn't matter.
True, but
There is no threat to Captain America that there is to these boys. There is no stakes. Like,
I mean, keep in mind, Captain America isn't bulletproof.
no, but like it minimizes or serves to pull from the attention that we could be giving to normal people overcoming near insurmountable odds.
That's true, which I think is why he loves Punisher and Nick Fury so much.
Yeah, which I get what he's saying. Like, I really get what he's saying.
Nonetheless, hang on. To be fair, Captain America was also fighting threats that were dangerous to him, like Hydra. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Nonetheless, Ennis has admitted to having appreciation for the idea behind Wonder Woman, if not the character, and even to outright liking Superman, the latter of whom he was noted for writing respectfully in Hitman. Ennis has since explained that his issue with superhero comics is not over the genre itself, but more over its dominance in the industry and the constraints imposed on superhero stories by publishers. This is another part where he's completely fucking right.
Yeah.
I find most superhero stories completely meaningless, which is not to say I don't think there's potential for the genre. Alan Moore and Warren Ellis have both done interesting work with the notion of what it might be like to be and think beyond humans, see Miracle Man or Watchmen or Supergod. But as long as the industry is geared towards fulfilling audience demand, i.e. for the same brightly colored characters doing the same thing forever, you're never going to see any real growth. The stories can't end, so they'll never mean anything.
Yup.
Yeah, okay, he is kind of right.
Did you say Super God?
Yeah.
What the fuck is Super God?
That is a Warren Ellis indie comic from back in the day.
Because, like, it sounds like a fictional religion. Like,
it is.
I think... Can you send me that?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Dope.
Private chat. There we go.
Sweet. Because I'm definitely interested in that. But
yeah, I am too. I've been meaning to get that and the other two in that little informal trilogy. Also, you could argue every story featuring superheroes could be replaced with a normal guy overcoming odds. With a heavy asterisk, yes.
Like, could I argue that? Yes. Did all of those things happen with normal humans? No. It's like, it's the same reason I have something of a hard time with T'Challa that I talked to Larry about. Where, like, the closer you get to where I live, the more I'm like, well, fuck, now you're starting to disrespect my territory. Because, like, it's weird. Just like there's a bunch of implications about, like, Wakandans and slavery and black people. There's a bunch of implications about Captain America and World War II soldiers and shit. And I think Garth just doesn't want that door.
That is why I love Isaiah Bradley so much, because you're correct. He is correct that the fact that comic books aren't allowed to evolve or end is a detriment to the art. Yeah, definitely.
Factual.
Ennis has remarked that in terms of Marvel and DC characters, he prefers the ones he describes as more grounded, such as Punisher, John Constantine, and Nick Fury. In particular, Ennis describes Punisher as resembling the British comics he loved as a child more than Marvel and DC's heroes, which provided him a way to the character. Though his Constantine stories are widely acclaimed, he grew to dislike the character. He told Vulture in 2014 that he'd come to find Constantine morally repulsive and had no desire to write a character who essentially gets his pals killed and then explains they were doomed anyway, so why not spend their lives and use them up?
Fuck.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Hang on, let me take a fucking gummy so that it'll be kicking in by the time the show's over.
You fucking...
Hey, I haven't smoked today.
I just think it's funny that you got to announce it.
I'm just explaining why there's going to be fucking chewing ASMR for a second.
Maybe that's just part of our show.
So now we have personal life. Ennis had become a citizen of the U.S. by July 2016, lives in New York City. That does not shock me. A lot of his fucking material fawns over New York City a ton.
Where is he from?
Which part of Ireland? Let's see. He was born in Holywood.
Okay. Huh. So like just bumfuck.
Yeah. He's an atheist and said he feels disdain towards religion. Hell yeah, brother. He blamed
Wow.
growing up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles for influencing this attitude. This part makes me chuckle a little because I relate to this. While he was not directly involved in the conflict as a child, he would hear about it each morning on the radio. Ennis has related that having been raised secular, religiously motivated violence made no sense to him, characterizing such conflict as a disagreement amongst participants over how to worship their imaginary friend. Accurate.
Simplistic.
Well, true, but has maintained an interest in military history since childhood and is married. Yeah, it's nice that he's kept his family out of the public eye. A lot of these fucking people are unsuccessful at that.
I mean, even Johnny Depp could pull that off.
Not really. Johnny Depp rather infamously couldn't keep his family out of the public eye.
I mean, his marriage, one thing, but try finding pictures of his kids. You'll have a hard fucking time.
Yeah. Well, now you can find Lily Rose Depp, but that's because she's an adult and has a career of her own.
And she's entitled to do that.
Yeah, Ben Affleck pisses me off a lot over the years, but one thing he was really hardcore about that I agreed with was that he was one of the celebrities who lobbied really hard for like additional legal protections from paparazzi.
I'm gonna be real with you. That's some big whiny baby shit for me.
Specifically, the children of celebrities, to be clear.
Oh,
like he was big on like, no, they can harass me if they want to. They're not allowed to show up at my fucking kid's preschool.
Fair. Okay, you wanna know what? I'll take that line. Fair point.
Similarly, the actress who played Lois on Superman and Lois, sometimes when she posts pictures of her daughter, sometimes she posts pictures of her daughter. When she does, she always puts like an emoji over the kid's face.
Yeah, dude, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and some people bitch about that, and she's like, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Unsubscribe if you don't like it.
I mean, if people are bitching about it, that is the reason that we like the fact that you care enough to bitch about it is the reason it's necessary as a concept.
Yeah, I think what she said, because her husband's also an actor. In fact, her husband is her former love interest from Grimm. Her comment was like, my husband and I signed up to be public figures. Our 5-year-old daughter did not. Ben Affleck also calls Bill Maher an idiot. Well, yeah, that is true. And they did get in that infamous fucking shouting match on the show that one time. That was awesome.
I don't know about this.
It wasn't that interesting. It was just like an argument over like whether or not it's racist to fucking say the shit about Islam that Bill Maher does. It was basically just that.
I mean, because like he just says shit like they have no rights over there. They're trying to take shit away, right? Like he's one of those.
It's getting a lot fucking worse. He used to be somewhat moderated with it. Like at the time, Ben Affleck was ahead of the curve on it because at the time this was happening, like 12 years ago or whatever, Bill Maher was still like generally progressive, but just had a couple fucking bad takes. But now he's just gone like full Israel cockthroating. He was always more pro-Israel than they deserved, but he used to be like somewhat balanced on it.
I do like that statement, more pro-Israel than they deserved, implying that there is a deserved amount of pro-Israel that goes beyond the Balfour Declaration. Like, yeah. Bro, you know, like literally the correct amount of pro-Israel like views are being like, yeah, we should make Israel, and then coming up with a plan and being like, this is fucking insane, and being like France, pulling the fuck out and never touching this again. That's the okay amount of support for Israel.
So, like, Bill Maher, his level of, like, talk about Israel-Palestine used to be of the type where he'd say, like, well, they've kind of got a point that Israel shouldn't be launching rockets, but they also launch rockets. That's not great. Like, it used to be that, where I still disagree, but, like, all right, I can have a conversation about this.
Sure.
Whereas now he's like, the Jews deserve all of greater Israel because the God I don't believe in promised it to them in the Bible.
You know, I'm just going to say, I know I'm being a little cringe here myself, but it is kind of funny that there were like a bunch of atheist cucks who were like, "Oh, I see. Sky Daddy told you you had to get a place, so now it's real." And then the U.S. government was like, "Yeah, they can have that." It's like, "Well, my Sky Daddy said you could have it, so now
Yeah,
it's
if
real."
you like Bill Maher did that documentary Religulous that like basically just makes fun of different religions, like examines them, talks about why they're dumb. And it's not that he didn't say anything about Christian religions because he dedicated huge sections of the movie to it, but the stuff he had to say about fundamentalist Islam had a little more personal bite to it, and you can tell that he's got a personal bone to pick there.
Dude almost said camel jockeys. Like,
He probably just did fucking say it. He says shit like that on the show sometimes. He got in trouble like 10 years ago. He got in trouble and had to apologize the following week because he jokingly called himself a house ninja.
oh my god,
Only he didn't say ninja.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, his audience was pissed. Like you could hear them get mad, and he's like, "Oh, jeez."
Like, Bill, how do you think that joke even works? Like,
I kept watching his show like 10 years past when I should have because I wanted to be there when he finally got the show canceled by being racist as fuck. But I just couldn't hack it anymore, dude.
what did he do to actually get it canceled?
He didn't. I was waiting for it to happen. But no, it's still on. My fucking dad still watches it, even though he doesn't really like it anymore.
Oh god, that's just too much.
Yeah, the final straw for me, because for a while I kept watching it as like Oppo research.
Sure.
The final straw was that during the writer's strike, he tried to bring the show back, like against the writer's strike, and that was like, that's it. Nope, can't do it anymore.
How do I put this? I don't disagree with you, but it's funny that that's the final straw.
Well, I had like a million previous times that I wanted to just say, fuck this, I'm out. But I held on because I was like, nope, I gotta be there when he gets himself canceled. I gotta be there. And then after he tried to bring it back against the writer's strike, I was like, I don't need to be there. I can watch the clip on YouTube.
It's just really giving back from Community. I could stand for racism, but I won't stand for trying to undermine the
Well, keep in
writers of
mind,
America.
I wasn't standing
You
for
can
racism.
stand
I was
racism.
watching it as Oppo research. I was watching it for the same reason that you might watch a Fox News clip.
Because I think I'm a bad boy and I deserve to feel like a subhuman piece of shit. And
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Will myself to put the gun in my mouth.
I mean, I do occasionally like take a glance at what the Turning Point assholes are saying, just so that I keep my fucking talking points fresh.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
So anyway, that was what I used to do with Bill Maher. That used to be my like once a week glimpse into what idiots think, you know. Similarly, I watch Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage for the same reason. I take a weekly glimpse into America B.
Ugh. Ugh. Anything that involves the greater extended Young Sheldon universe should just be burned at the stake.
I like Young Sheldon. I like that show because the characters in it are really good.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Despite being called Young Sheldon, Sheldon is only one of like 7 main characters.
I don't need no Christian fundamentalist in my fucking show.
They're not that. So that's the thing. I suspected this while watching Young Sheldon, and it got confirmed by the finale and now by Georgie and Mary. His mom wasn't that crazy yet back then.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, I just don't want to hear about your fucking good old family from Texas.
Oh, well, I mean, the family is a little dysfunctional. Like, don't worry, it's not propaganda. It's just like a family sitcom where the characters happen to be really good. Georgie and Mandy, on the other hand, is the TV equivalent of Cheese Whiz.
You're really underselling Cheese Whiz here.
There we go. Yeah, it's just like cheap kind of slop entertainment that's mildly amusing for 18 minutes.
Hey man, I've had a good Philly with some whiz.
True. But yeah, Young Sheldon, not that I'm calling it like the highest of art or anything, but like I could stand watching that show for 7 seasons because I liked the characters in it.
7 seasons is a lot of seasons, SpongeBob.
Well, I'm watching it for 20 minutes a week, keep in mind. I'm not binging the fucking thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
It would probably get old if I binged it, but watching it for 20 minutes once a week over the course of 7 years was bearable.
Folks, keep in mind Larry has like an unreasonable tolerance for like eating small amounts of shit once a week. And like to just be really fucking blunt, because he brings this up occasionally, or rather it comes up organically in conversations way more than it should. This motherfucker still watches The Simpsons every week.
I do, to hate on it.
I just could not fucking make myself.
Yeah, it's not. Every now and then there's one good joke that's actually funny, but
Do you want to know what I've been checking out lately?
Microdosing on shit. No, I am, so that when I have to watch a movie like fucking War Machine, it doesn't kill me.
Straight microdosing on shit.
Yeah.
I've been watching some new Family Guy.
Yeah, me too.
It's trying.
Yeah, it's entertaining enough for me to spend 20 minutes a week watching it. They really should just like drop the gambit and just do like a fucking cover show or something. It is notable that in this latest season they did 4 parody episodes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just saw the reason why I'm like, haven't we already done a bunch of these lately?
Yeah, SNL is rough. Weekend Update is consistently good. Other than that, SNL varies dramatically.
I fucking could. I will watch SNL on the rare occasions that one of a couple things happens. Number 1, Justin Timberlake shows up.
True.
Number 2, I will watch the clips of those 2 news guys being really racist to each other.
Yeah, that's Weekend Update.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Weekend Update, no matter how shitty the rest of the episode is, Weekend Update is always good.
Yeah, those 2 guys are funny. Number 3, if Tim Robinson is doing really good work and I like hear about it.
Yeah, he was writing on that show for a while. Apparently, so back in like, I guess early 2016, they stupidly had Trump as the host.
Okay.
It was really controversial. You notice they took the few weeks before that off because they were getting so many protests.
President Trump.
Well, he wasn't president yet, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry. That's right. He wasn't president, but they had him on. Okay.
Yeah, this was during the campaign, but he wasn't president
yet. Okay, that's what I'm checking on. Okay.
So we obviously didn't hear about this at the time, but years later we learned that when Tim Robinson was sitting in the writer's room and he heard that, he said, and I quote, "Someone needs to shoot Lorne in his fucking head." And now I see why he doesn't work for SNL anymore.
Well, also, I'll throw out the other reason he doesn't work for SNL anymore.
Because he has better stuff to do?
Because he's funny.
Yeah.
Bro, I think you should leave blue fucking SNL to bits.
I watched SNL with my folks when they came to visit, and they thought it would be fun, then continued to watch the light leave their eyes. Yep. By the way, speaking of Tim Robinson, have you watched The Chair Company on HBO?
I've only watched the first couple episodes. I've just been so busy.
That's a good one, too.
Oh, my God, it's great.
Yeah, so what was I talking about with... SNL. So you said the thing about the guys being racist to each other?
Yeah.
Do you get what that is? Like, have you seen that in context?
I mean, I think so, but when you're saying it like this, you're making me think I don't.
So they have a joke they do. Usually every season finale. I think sometimes they do it the last show before Christmas as well, as a gift to each other. They have this game they play where they each write for the other a joke that they then have to read on air, having never been allowed to see it.
Yeah. I've seen this. Yes.
Yeah, so all the really racist jokes that the white guy is saying were written by the black guy specifically to make the white guy look bad.
Well, yes, there is that, but there is also the other time, though.
Which time is that?
When fucking well, it's not Weekend Update. It's just a thing that I've seen them do a couple times. But when they do the fucking we're gonna read news stories and guess what race the guy is.
Oh yeah, they've done that once or twice too.
Like man has a gun at a Shabuzi concert. Yeah, that's one of ours. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, we were talking about Garth Ennis back before we went on this tangent. So when I talk about the divide between Garth and Ennis, I'm going to show you an example. So this panel is from Volume 1 of Punisher Max in the beginning. And this is Microchip, who's Punisher's former tech guy, weapons guy sidekick. And Micro now works for the U.S. government, and he has arrested Frank via CIA agents and has given them the option to do black ops shit for the government, hunting bin Laden, like figures like that. And Frank tells him to go fuck himself. And then he says this line: fighting for the people who run the world gets you stabbed in the back. You fight the wars they start and feed. You kill the monsters they create. You die from handling depleted uranium while they get rich on oil. I'm not going back to war so the Colt can sell another million M16s. I had enough of that in Vietnam.
Nice.
Yeah. There's also Garth Ennis is shit. Preacher has a lot of it, but Punisher especially is really politically tinged. There's a ton of like him using about how the U.S. government is responsible for Al Qaeda, or depicting like the last one. Yeah, based exactly right. The last one of these that Garth Ennis wrote ends with Punisher killing a bunch of U.S. generals.
That's a direction.
Yeah. Now, in this same book, like an issue or two earlier, this exchange happens.
All right. Are you also going to read this one?
These are the two CIA guys, or one's a woman, who are keeping tabs on the Punisher. And I'll just read the relevant parts. O'Brien, who's the female one, says, you know, he is in great shape for his age.
Hold on.
Okay.
Wait. Are you skipping a part, or are you just reading what's up above? Because I'm
just reading the relevant passages.
I'm not seeing what you're reading, is what I'm saying.
Right here. She says, you know, he is in great shape for a guy his age. I wonder if he's got a big dick. And this guy goes, O'Brien, why? Like, as in, starts to ask why. In case I get the chance to fuck him. I like big dicks.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just tonal whiplash from the other thing.
Well, yeah, but that's how people be sometimes.
What about the politicians voting to send them to endless wars? They get into that, don't worry. I'd forgotten this, but later on in this same thing, when they've got Punisher in the interrogation room, like the makeshift one they've set up in their hotel room, she, even though the door's closed, she can kind of hear Punisher's voice, and she gets so horned up that she has to go over to the mini fridge and like stick her head in it to cool down.
So she's just horny.
Well, she's horny for Punisher specifically.
We are allowed to have female horny characters.
Yeah, I love
Stop
Catherine O'Brien.
Women's sexuality, Larry.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. That's just the easiest example. What's another good example of the fucking? I can't bring up an image of this one, and you'll understand why. But I cannot. I can't. Like, I'll TOS.
Bring up the image.
I literally can't.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna look at the image.
There's a comic that Garth Ennis wrote called Crossed, which is like his least popular comic because it's just him at his most edgy and most like nihilistic.
Okay.
And there's a character in Crossed named Horsecock. And he's called that because he's one of the zombies who's all psychotic and everything, and he wields as a weapon, as a club, a giant severed horse cock.
Oh, you actually can show this. It's fine.
I don't think I can, but
No, I'm dead serious. They like blacked it out and shit. It's fine.
oh, okay. If they blacked it out, that's different.
Yeah, no, they blacked that shit out. It's cool.
Yeah,
If
here
you just- Yeah, if you just Google Garth Ennis crossed that name, hit the first link and then hit the image, it's like a way that we're fine to do.
Yeah, so this is just barely
Yeah.
within TOS.
Well, yeah, but that's fine. That's fine to do.
Yeah, so under that black is a giant fucking horsecock. Also based, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, Crossed. Yeah. So what Crossed is about here, I brought it up. It's a zombie thing, essentially, but rather than be zombies as in like the Walking Dead or Last of Us type, they maintain their intelligence. They just become homicidal fucking lunatics.
It's Purge. They get zombied into being Purge people.
Kinda, yeah. It's called Crossed because this cross-shaped rash they develop.
And see, because it's a mark of the Antichrist, and they're sinners. I can fucking see the thing right itself.
That's implicit, but no, they don't write that in explicitly. The comic never gives a concrete explanation for where this pandemic came from.
Huh.
Like it does the Walking Dead route where it's purposefully ambiguous about it.
Not the TV show where we got a fucking laboratory.
Yeah, but even the TV show doesn't fully explain it. They just give you breadcrumbs.
Doesn't the first season tell us?
Well, it says how it spread. It doesn't say what its origin point was. It's just the guy explains the rules of the infection.
Okay.
But like
God,
we still,
so
I guess Kirkman on Twitter confirmed, for whatever that's worth, that the origin of it is a space spore that came on an asteroid, but that's not in the comic or show. So,
do I get a second comic, Kirkland? Like,
I think he said this while the comic was still going. I don't know. Anyway, so Crossed, they get the fucking rash. They go insane. Religion, true. Though in this case, it's subtext and not text, like it usually is with Garth Ennis.
So I don't know, man. When it's called Crossed, that's kind of just text.
Kinda, yeah. So anyway, this series is like I'm not showing any images from it for a reason, because it's like I flipped through it on a perfectly legal comic reading website that definitely wasn't in the news recently.
Yo ho ho ho.
Yeah.
Wait, what site was in the news?
Read comic, well, not the news, but it got like shut down and then brought back and then maybe shut down again.
Oh, okay. You aren't getting on the Russian servers, guys. Have fun with that.
Yeah, so I was flipping around on there. So all the fucked up violence that Garth Ennis normally shows in relatively small doses, he instead just goes all out on, like children being fucking ripped in half on screen. Because the Crossed, they just want to hurt. Like they rape people, they torture, they kill. And they still, yes, do remember to use your VPNs, but they still maintain their intelligence. So they still know their names. If they had a beef with you before infection, they'll fucking take it out on you now. Like if the smarter ones can still use guns and drive and shit. Like the smarter ones can plan. They can like raid armories for new guns and all that. Yeah, they are kind of like the Reavers from Firefly, though unlike the Reavers, they still talk.
I'm trying to, there's something I'm thinking of with these guys, and I can't put my finger on it.
There's a scene in Crossed. Garth Ennis only wrote the first volume, and then he kind of came back for like one other, but he just had like the one-off idea, and then he let other writers take it in other directions. But in that first volume, they meet the human survivors that we're following. They meet this group of children who are in the care of their kindergarten teacher. Because like all their parents were dead, she was the only adult, so she's like, God damn it, I'm going to take care of these kids. And they don't say it explicitly, but the very strong implication is that she has been feeding them people. because they just had no other food and she wanted to keep them alive.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Hang on. So she dies in the big crossfire of the fight. They escape. They've got like the
Wait, she dies in the what?
Like the fight with the crossed. Yeah, I know, the crossfire. So she gets killed, and a couple of the kids survive. They take them with them to their camp, and that night they're like, "Look, man, we can't have these fucking kids around." Like, some of the adults feel that way. Some are okay with it, and then like one of them has a kid of her own. She's like, "I'm not letting kids who were eating people around my child."
The kids didn't know they're eating people, right?
It's unclear. Probably not.
So they're cool.
Well, yeah, and that's why you're going to say, oh, fuck this comic, because of what I'm about to tell you. The adults vote, and they ultimately vote that they can't have these kids in their group, but they also can't leave the kids to fend for themselves, because they'll get fucking horrifically killed in short order.
Sure.
So do you know what they do?
Tell me.
They kill the fucking kids. The protagonists of this comic shoot several kindergarten-age children.
Hold on. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm following this logic correctly. Me and my buddies are the protagonists. Are we good guys?
I mean, probably not anymore because of the things you've had to do to survive, but you're trying to be.
Yeah. I mean, our goal is to be good guys. We strive to be good guys.
Yeah.
We got children in our group.
Well, they have the one child.
Okay, we got one child, and we're going along, and we find a fucked up community, and there's like a fight, all this bullshit, and then now we end up with we got some children who have been eating people, and they didn't know they were eating people, and we're like, all right, fuck it.
Well, it's also possible the kids knew they were eating people, but because they're so young, didn't understand the significance of that. It's ambiguous.
So we just line them up and take the fucking...
Basically. Well, also, they do also bring up the argument that cannibal kids or not, we simply don't have the resources to care for an additional, like, 6 people who can't work.
I'm confused, though. Why are we actively killing the kids?
Because they've deemed it more merciful than just leaving them to die on their own.
Every time I hear shit like this in stories, I'm like, do you think you're the only people who can ever survive? Ever?
Well, no, but to be fair, a group of 6-year-olds probably isn't going to make it very long in this world with no adult taking care of them.
Probably, yeah. But guess what? If I shoot you in the head, you're definitely not gonna...
Honestly, and I'm not saying I agree with this viewpoint, but the way the adults rationalized it to themselves was that it was mercy to the children.
It's not.
No, it's not, but that's how they rationalized it. And what's fucked up is they do it while the kids are asleep. And so the first couple kids die in their sleep, but then a couple
of them
wake up.
And then the last one goes, oh, fuck.
The last couple of them are wake up and get freaked out because they realize what's happening.
So their family annihilated the children. Cool.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean about this comic? Ennis wrote this comic.
Okay, I'm actually gonna raise the stakes.
Okay.
I don't think the difference is Garth and Ennis is edgy versus non-edgy. I think this is an edgy dude who sometimes just loses all fucking skill and sense.
Yeah. So Garth, it's not that Garth isn't edgy and Ennis is. It's that they're both edgy, but Garth has something to say about it, and Ennis is like, what if the 12-year-olds all fucked each other and got herpes? Yeah, I also have passed on reading it. Also, to respond to your earlier thing, imagine a psychopath gets infected and it makes them normal. I was skimming the Wikipedia article about how the crossed virus works before the show started, and apparently in one of the volumes, a Ted Bundy, like John Wayne Gacy type serial killer nutcase gets crossed, and it barely changes his behavior at all. Like, he basically is just doing the exact same thing he was already doing.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean,
In fact, fortunately for him and unfortunately for everyone else, because he was already so fucked up, getting the virus didn't fuck him up cognitively like it does for a lot of them. So he's still capable of like delayed gratification and long-term planning and like organizing and everything. Like he has like a commune of other fucking crossed people that he's convinced to not kill each other.
excuse me. Jesus Christ. I'm dying inside. Oh.
I still forgive you. Yeah, here's O'Brien sticking her entire body in the mini fridge so she doesn't fucking leak through her pants.
Fair.
He does get to fuck her later, by the way. Later in the series.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, Frank still has a sex drive, even though he mostly doesn't do anything with it anymore.
I mean, sure, but like, it sounds like if anything, this is just a setup for her being horny. Can I just like roll back to this crossed problem though?
Yeah.
That's such a waste of bullets.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a fucked up comic, and that's why I'm not particularly interested in reading it.
Don't you need those bullets?
I mean, they only used like 4 of them because there were only like 4 kids, so.
That's 4 shots.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't bring themselves to do it with a knife.
Oh yeah, because that's the fucking line we can't cross.
You'd be surprised how many people are like that. Like, even real life soldiers, like, they can handle shooting someone, stabbing them to death up close. That hurts. I mean, there's the reason we dehumanize the enemy is not just because, like, fuck them all to death. It's a tactic for training soldiers because you're teaching them, like, no, you don't. What you're doing is okay. They're not people the same way we are.
like, yeah, but I
mean, this is a fictional example, but you'll notice in Star Wars, the stormtroopers have way better aim when they're shooting at the uniformed rebel troops than they do when they're shooting at the non-uniformed main characters.
Sure, but like shooting, like this is different from an execution where like you are definitively going to put a hole in these children's heads. I'm sorry that the sideways fucking slice hole makes you feel so much differently about this entire experience.
I agree. Don't worry.
Like, it's just a hole.
I'm just trying to find one of the panels I told you about the other day.
It's
because
like Bye Guys,
the,
you know? Any hole is a goal.
Yeah, well, since I've got the comic open, I might as well show you the thing that I'm looking for. Or the thing that I was talking about, rather. Oh, yeah, they have the black Irish guy in this one. I forgot about that.
What do you mean by that?
Like a literal black guy who grew up Irish and as a result talks in the accent and the slang and everything.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah. I just wish I didn't have to hear people say that phrase with other things in mind.
Yeah, black Irish in a lot of people's voices just means Irish person with a tan.
Yeah, like, and then you're just one step away from like, well, the Irish were slaves too, you know? It's like, no.
They were indentured servants, which is also fucked up, but legally speaking is a whole different thing.
I mean, and also they weren't like that. The British Empire, but like, don't hold me accountable for the fucking British Empire, bro. Like, I'm sorry, no.
And also, when they were indentured servants, they weren't like that due to their ethnicity. It's just that a bunch of that ethnicity were in there.
Don't get me wrong. Like, there is Irish genocide, but you're just mad at the wrong person on that. Is really
anyone in the U.S. who brings up the Irish slaves thing is just doing it to minimize what happened to black people.
Literally, go get mad at England if you want to talk about this conversation. Also, learn Irish, you little bitch. Like, it's a dying language. Go learn Irish. Do something to contribute.
I forgot how early this comic is from, but the cell phone McGinty is throwing here reminded me.
Probably like '06.
If I mean, that's not a bad guess. I believe this issue's from like '04, but still, it's just funny because it's otherwise so timeless until someone whips out a flip phone and you're like, oh right, it was the 2000s.
I mean, flip phones could come back.
It's like, have you watched The Wire?
Not yet.
So I've seen like bits of it, but one of the things that's in The Wire is it it's aged so perfectly in like almost every respect, except for the technology used. So you'll watch like a 10-minute conversation with like two cop characters, and everything they're saying it would be right at home in a modern cop show. And then one of them will hear a little beep at his belt and pull out a beeper and go, "Oh, hang on, I gotta go find a payphone."
I mean, that's how technology works.
Oh, I know. I'm not blaming the show for it. It's just amusing in hindsight.
I think it's just like I don't know how that's different from like fucking, like I watch an old movie and they take like a fucking beep 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 beep, beep ass time.
Well, yeah, but if you're in an old movie, you're anticipating that, whereas The Wire throws you off because it feels so modern otherwise. Like it was really ahead of its time when it came out.
Maybe I just don't like.
Here's a good example. The original Star Wars movie
Yeah.
is like really timeless for the most part, like aesthetically and everything. I mean, obviously its effects have aged and whatnot, but like Luke Skywalker, like his character design does not scream late 70s sci-fi like Logan's Run or something does, right? Like Luke's character design would look right in a modern movie.
No, his haircut.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. His haircut is fairly timeless.
You think so?
I'm not saying it's fucking perfect one-to-one.
I think it's iconic enough that it's been reproduced. I don't think it's timeless at all.
Well, him and Han Solo, like I look at their haircuts and I'm like, yeah, if I saw a modern guy in real life with that haircut, I wouldn't think twice about it.
Bro, if you see Han Solo and he doesn't have a gun, he literally looks like he's about to go play DDR, which he has a whole fucking thing.
Yeah. But then, like, anyway, my point is that Star Wars is aesthetically reasonably timeless until you look at the background actors and suddenly remember exactly what year the movie was shot.
I don't think anything is timeless. Things are made in time.
You know what the fuck I meant, said Pooh.
I don't understand this trying to separate a work from, like, a time. I don't get it.
I agree. I'm just saying that, like, some movies age better than others.
I guess. I never
like
think
Lord
about
of the Rings.
Technology being relevant to that.
Well, like Lord of the Rings, because it takes place in an entirely fictional realm, is not gonna, other than like the quality of the CG, maybe. Like Lord of the Rings isn't gonna look fucking ancient in 20 years because it's a whole ass fictional world that stays the same. Also, this isn't what I was looking for, but for some reason the shadow on this guy's face makes him look like Hitler, and I don't think that was intentional given the context.
It does if you're looking from that angle, yeah.
Yeah. That's just amusing. That's not actually important. This is not the one I'm looking for, but it is worth noting that Finn Cooley says this word. What I am looking for is him saying it later in a much funnier context.
Well, okay, just gonna throw this out there. Unfortunately, that is how Southern people use the word.
Well, this guy's Irish, but yeah.
Here
it is. Yes.
Oh wait, it's the guy in the fucking bar. I know what this is. I've seen.
Can Lucan say it? No, because Lucan is not a human being.
Who's Logan?
The black dude from Invincible, the black Viltrumite guy.
Yeah, no.
No, he's not a human being. Lucan doesn't have the right to be on Earth. Like, I get that Mark didn't really have a choice but to agree in the moment, but if Mark is smart, what he did was the second, what's his fucking name again? Thrag. I wanted to call him Lee because Lee Pace voices him.
You mean Freddy?
Yeah, Space Freddy. So the second that Space Freddy flew off, if Mark is smart, he immediately flew to the GDA and said to Cecil, there are 37 Viltrumites on Earth. We need to find them right this fucking second.
That would be a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, like nobody clip me when I say this. If I were Cecil and Viltrumites tried to live on Earth, I would make Hitler look like a fucking moderate. I would be going scorched fucking Earth. I'd be building Viltrumite Auschwitz immediately. Every single one of them is dying the second it's possible. I am genociding the Viltrumite species.
I'm going to be real with you. That's why you're not a Cecil.
I know I'm not a Cecil, and I'd be fucking terrible at it, but that's what I'd do if I were him.
If it were me, I'd take good old Daddy Conquest. I'd take good old Duplicate. I'd take good old Mark. And I'd make a Parisian sandwich down in the basement, and we'd get to work.
One of my favorite things this season of Invincible, spoilers if you haven't watched the fucking 2-month-old episode, is after they kill Conquest and bury him, in the post-credit scene, it cuts back and the music's building up, and then it's just silent.
That shit caught me so funny.
I'm sitting there like, you better fucking not, you better not, and then just, okay.
It's great because I had a buddy who was like, is Conquest still alive? And I'm like, and when they do that, like as we watch the episode for the first time, I'm just like, thank you so much.
I think at this point in the comics that he died there, but that doesn't demand the show will keep that.
It's like nothing means nothing with some of these.
Yeah. Well, Invincible follows the comic pretty closely. Like, they tweak details, but the general beats of the story are the same.
Yeah, it's like the story's the same. They've just made a couple of like I think it's really respectable how who is that again?
Who? Conquest?
No, who writes Invincible?
Oh, Kirkman. Robert Kirkman.
Okay, I thought so. I just want to make sure. I like how Kirkman has gone on the record and been like, yeah, I'm tweaking a couple things here because I was a young man when I wrote this, and I think I could do this a little better.
Yeah. I remember because he was writing Walking Dead and Invincible at the same time. Which, I don't know if this is real, but the fictional version of him from a comic I read called Crossover. Do you know what that comic's about? A big fucking dimensional rift opens up and 1 million comic characters literally come to life in the real world.
That's fun.
The ones we see all happen to be ones also owned by Image Comics, and I'm sure that has nothing to do with licensing rights. But, yeah, so Negan, and he's literally in black and white while the rest of the comic is color.
Love that.
Negan drives to fucking Robert Kirkman's house to get revenge over all the shit that he put him through. And, like, he actually kills him with the bat the same way he did Glenn and says, that's for what you made me do to Glenn. But, anyway, it's a funny scene, but there's an actual, like, heartfelt bit in there where I'm assuming the real Robert Kirkman contributed to this part of it, where the Kirkman says to Negan, like, look, Walking Dead was rough to write. There's a reason I wrote Invincible and Science Dog at the same time, was because I needed a break from staying in the Walking Dead headspace for too long at a time.
Shit is depressing.
When he wrote the whole bit where the fucking redneck tries to rape Carl and then Rick, like, rips out his jugular with his teeth. I remember in an interview, Kirkman talked about writing that, and he said that was, like, one of the hardest scenes for him to write because of how upset he was by the fact that he came up with it. And that when he was writing like the general notes for the artist, he said, I need it to be absolutely clear they don't actually do anything to Carl.
But they were gonna.
Yeah, they were gonna, but he's like, I need to make absolutely clear that they did not succeed in even starting to do anything, because I can't handle something that upsetting in my comic. I can handle pregnant women getting shot. I can handle all this mass murder. I cannot handle a child getting raped in front of his father.
But look at what it made. Like,
oh yeah, it's not like he didn't enjoy writing Walking Dead. It's just that after writing it for like a week straight, he needed to take a week off and write some Invincible instead.
Oh, absolutely. I just Carl moves me as a character in a way.
Yeah, especially in the comic.
A lot of ones do. Yeah, I only mean the comic one. I do not refer to Carl on this.
I don't even mind the show version. I like him more than most people do, but he's not as dynamic a character as he is in the comic.
I don't dislike the show version, but he is nothing to the show version. It's just apples and oranges. But
most stuff the comic does better. There's one or two things where the show's expanded time frame made the storyline benefit, but
I could see it, but
like the crazy kid kills the twin thing, like it's two boys in the comic, two girls in the show.
Yup.
In the comic, we don't find out that this kid has problems till he does that. So, like for the characters, it comes out of nowhere for us. And I get that that's what he was trying to do, but it just kind of comes across like out of left field. The show built up to that slower because it's a show, it's formatted differently. So we got slower and more gradual hints that Lizzie had something wrong with
I don't like the hints. I don't like hints.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like, I don't know, it felt more natural for Lizzie to go, for it to be, oh, Lizzie's kind of fascinated by the zombies, to, oh, Lizzie doesn't understand that holding her hand over the baby's mouth is dangerous, to, oh, Lizzie killed her sister because she thinks she'll come back. Whereas in the comic, it's just, oh, Ben just stabbed his fucking brother out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude, because how the fuck are these children supposed to understand? I don't need a build up to know children don't understand.
I get it. I'm not saying the comics version sucks or anything. I'm just saying that like sometimes the fact that the show had to be slower paced led to some storylines being a little bit paced better.
True. I get that.
Also, adding Daryl is nice, and the show does way more with Carol than the comic ever did. I mean, you might not like that, but it is.
Yeah.
That is another case of Kirkman regretting his own writing. Like, the reason he didn't kill Carol off was because he regretted not doing more with her.
I don't think we get as good of a foil between Rick and Negan without having the dynamic between Rick and comic Carol.
Yeah, that...
I think if you take away that specific interaction, later when you see the two of them, it's a lot harder to see the distinct difference.
Yeah, and the show, it didn't literally keep her around longer, but it felt longer because of the different format and because she was a little more annoying. They gave some of that shit to Lori. Ugh. And like even after Lori was gone, they split it across a few of the other characters. Like,
but you can't give the thing about having multiple wives to your first wife.
Well, no, I didn't mean that. I meant more like the not being prepared for the apocalypse emotionally type of thing.
I didn't really do anything. Like, of social dynamics and how like quickly, like, I mean, because like Carol essentially was like, "Yo, can we share your man?"
Yeah, what they should have done, they should have given that scene, even if they weren't going to give it to Carol, they should have given that scene to another character. But
that
scene
needs to exist.
Especially because Carol, she is like, even though it's a sign that she's slipping, she's not wrong that we are allowed to toss out the old rules of society if we want to.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean is like I need that specific like. Well, we could. They're like, why not? Can I pitch this idea? It would work for me. I'm sure it would work for him. So would it work for you?
By the way, if we're talking moments in things that suddenly remind you how long ago they came out, in one of the really early Walking Dead issues, Rick is kind of talking about how like which places they can go to for supplies. And he says something like, the pharmacies probably pick clean because this was right at the start. Everyone thought that it was just going to be temporary, so they were just looting VCRs and shit. And I'm just like, oh, I forgot it was 2003. Because Walking Dead, especially because it's post-apocalyptic, is like timeless in the sense that it can be set in any era, more or less unchanged.
Yeah, I think that line is the only thing you need to change.
Yeah, and it's not to say the show doesn't have its moments where they talk about the internet or whatever, but it's just funny that it basically it's funny to remember that even as late as 2003, VCRs were still like a theft worthy item.
I mean, they were reasonably theft worthy until like 06.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny because when you think of the early 2000s, you think of like MP3s and like early internet video streaming. You don't think of like, oh yeah, the VCR was still fairly popular.
I guess I think about technology moving slower at that time and people getting new stuff slower.
It's strange to me that Last of Us chose to start its apocalypse in 2003. I think they just did that one so that you could have the obvious what?
I would do that to avoid any tech shit at all.
Well, there's that, and there's the whole like, oh, it's set in the exact year it came out, but like an alternate version of that year. And there's also like, because you got to remember, the average TV viewer is really fucking stupid. So even if you show them explicitly, it has been 20 years since the outbreak of 2023. 6 episodes later, when you see a fucking like poster that says Happy New Year 2043, the viewer's going to go, huh? The game didn't give specific years except for on little tiny Easter eggs. Because that's the thing. The show makes what year it is somewhat relevant sometimes. Like they say out loud, Happy New Year 20 whatever. Whereas the game, the only way you can tell what year it was is like occasionally if you look closely at a billboard that's up for 20 years, it says coming 2013.
Yeah, The Last of Us does this thing where sometimes details don't matter.
Yeah, I know. Also, with Last of Us, if they'd set the apocalypse in 2023, it would have just opened them up to the fans going like, it's because of Joe Biden didn't handle it.
But plus, you have to have a bunch of fucking inventions from like 20 fucking years.
Yeah. Actually, something that I think TV Tropes noted is that moving the era back makes Bill's traps and shit more technologically impressive.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Because he's doing it with 10 years older tech. Also, a lot of his traps in the show appeared to be wireless, whereas in the game, for gameplay reasons, they always had a wire.
It's not hard to make wireless shit.
Like with 2000, and that's not to say it's impossible, but like someone making wireless explosive triggers with 2003 tech is more impressive. It speaks to how intelligent Bill is.
I mean, with a book at a free electronics store, you can do a lot.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like, it's much easier with modern tech. They've automated a lot more of it.
Think about how many Radio Shacks Bill had access to.
Yeah, didn't they? Not Radio Shack specifically, but didn't he say something about like I've cleared out all of that type of store in the 10-mile radius or whatever?
Sure, I don't know. Yeah,
or maybe that was in the game. Who knows? But
I think it's in the game because I remember hearing him say it.
I do remember everyone on the internet laughing when they have the graphic that says 30 miles west of Boston and they're in like the woods.
I mean, it could like grow, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just really funny. Like the type of woods they picked too looked much more like the Pacific Northwest or wherever than they would.
They're in those kind of woods. They're in big country.
And it's only for like 4 seconds, so it's not a big deal. It doesn't fucking slow the pace of the episode down, but it is just funny to see.
Fair.
It's just kind of it's the same as like I don't know, like you have like Supernatural would do this occasionally. They'd always like pick a random part of the US the episode took place in. And sometimes it'd be a place I knew well, like somewhere in Massachusetts. And then it's like, oh, that's not what the street signs look like in that town.
Uh, fucking, I had a lot of fun when it came to Fallout 4.
Yeah. Go ahead, but remind me when you're done.
Absolutely, because that was the one set in Boston. So I remember like a fun thing that people would do when it came out was you would essentially try to measure where your town would be, and then
yes, I saw that.
And then like put yourself on the map there. Like mine just put me in the middle of a fucking like it was terrible.
The Boys has that problem with New York. I just look at it and go, that's not the city. Honestly, most movies set in New York have that problem. I've talked on the show before about The Taking of Pelham 123, the original from the 70s.
But that one doesn't have fucking gay man.
No, I've heard reasonably good stuff about the remake. I just haven't seen it. It's Tony Scott. It can't be that fucking bad.
It's just weirdly one of those times where I can't get his name.
Travolta.
Thank you. He just seems absolutely perfect for a role.
Oh, yeah, like I said, I've heard it's reasonably good.
And then someone was and then I don't know much about it, but someone was telling me the other week that there's like apparently a lot of queer subtext in Taking a Pelham. And I was like, oh, well, that's fucking hilarious that once again, that's when Travolta shines.
I wouldn't say there's a ton of it in the original, but you could probably point me to scenes where I'd be like, I kind of see it.
Yeah, like I don't really know. Like it's not my field, but
anyway, the reason I brought it up is because something the commentary notes is that unlike nearly all New York City movies, that movie gets the geography of New York like almost 100% perfect. Like there's one scene where just for time they have to use like 10 blocks instead of 11, but like other than that, like if you can track the route from the police station to the train station and it's like shown on screen and it's the actual route from those two places.
That's sick.
I haven't seen it, but apparently the 90s TV remake with Vincent D'Onofrio of all people used the fucking Toronto subway system because they were too cheap to use the New York one.
Wow, that's a choice.
Yeah, which the Toronto, or even better, there's a scene in Morbius. Have you seen fucking Morbius?
Yes.
That whole scene in the New York subway system that is so obviously the London Tube.
Truth.
Die Hard with a Vengeance does at least look like the city. Die Hard with a Vengeance does the same thing that many a New York City movie does, which is immediately becomes dated the second you see the Twin Towers.
Or it's an alternate timeline, who knows?
Well, yeah, X-Men 97, because it's set in 97, makes a point to show that the Twin Towers are still there. Or to bring it all the way back around to Garth Ennis, the Boys comic. Do you remember their version of 9/11?
Yes.
So, for those of you in the audience who might not know, the whole plane scene where Homelander refuses to save the plane and everything. So, that scene happens in the comic. But in the comic, it's not just any ordinary plane. It's Flight 93, or whichever one. And so what happened was Dakota Bob is president. He's more competent than George Bush. So he listens to his advisors more closely. He's more prepared for a 9/11-like terrorist attack.
Listen, he was reading a story to children. Relax.
No, I'm talking about the fictional character Dakota Bob.
I know, like I was just making a joke about Bush.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking about that particular incident. The point is Dakota Bob paid more attention to the intelligence community. He was more prepared for the day when an attack like this might come. Sure. So he scrambles fighter jets immediately, and he has them shoot down 3 of the 4 planes. I don't remember exactly which ones. They might have not even said. But the fighter jets shoot down 3 of the 4 planes, and they're in pursuit of the 4th. And the President Schaefer, he's about to give the order, and then he gets knocked unconscious from behind by his vice president, who works for Vought. And his vice president orders the planes to stand down because they want to prove how useful superheroes can be in a military capacity
It's
by
PR
having
test
them
time.
save the plane. And there's a really great scene when they're telling the story where the pilot of the fighter jet is Vic the Veep. Yeah, you're right. He's arguing with Vic the Veep, and he's one of the things he says is, "Sir, I just shot down 3 planes full of innocent people. If I let the 4th go, I did that for nothing." And then he's still ordered to stand down, and he finally does it, and he's sobbing in his fucking mask and everything.
Actually, a great scene.
Yeah, I think the narrator said you could tell he was crying like a little kid. At the very end of the comic, when Homelander has taken over the White House and they scramble the fighter jets to blow up the White House, it's the same guy leading the charge, and you can see in his eyes he's getting a little bit of satisfaction out of this one.
He's gonna fucking get that little shit.
Anyway, so back on 9/11. So Homelander and the rest of the 7 show up to save the plane, and they actually try this time, but they're fucking stupid, so they completely fuck it up. So bad that Vought can't even admit they were there. They have to come up with a cover story that they were fighting a supervillain called Molesto.
I forgot it was called Molesto.
Yeah, we never get to meet Molesto. We just hear about him this one time. But anyway, because they fucked up, rather than reach its target, which was the South Tower, it crashes into the Brooklyn Bridge. So throughout all the wide shots of the city in The Boys, the Twin Towers are still there, but the Brooklyn Bridge is not. And it actually gets very slowly rebuilt. In fact, by the last issue, it's finally fully restored. I wish the Boys show would have done something with supervillains. That's the thing. The comics don't really either. Most of the superheroes really exist, but the villains they fight in their in-universe comics are mostly fake. And one of the, I think, Vought people explains, every now and then an actual person gets superpowers and becomes a villain, and a hero fight is real.
Sure.
But most don't, because most people who get powers correctly recognize that it is way easier and less stressful to just be a low-ranked superhero and get paid millions of dollars to do almost nothing.
A supervillain is kind of silly when superheroes make so much money.
One or two of them do exist, but they almost never show up. I don't think we even see one except maybe in flashbacks. Yeah, it's interesting actually, the approach, because I remember Nick, you watched JLU. You remember the Cadmus arc?
Yes.
So the Cadmus arc was kind of like DC's version of Civil War before Marvel did it, and also way fucking better than Marvel did it.
Truth.
Though it was intended to be more like Civil War. That was the initial idea, but they decided that they couldn't do that without making either Batman look like a piece of shit or the rest of the Justice League look like pieces of shit. Civil War chose to take that risk and just made everyone look like a piece of shit.
And they look like pieces of shit.
I wish they'd recruit some people with powers to be villains, like a heel in wrestling. They seem to, but what they seem to do, honestly, they just publish comic books that they claim are based on real life.
Yeah, they just lie.
Yeah.
I feel like that step is unnecessary when I can tell you that happened, and you have no reason to not believe me.
Yeah, you read about this, because you might not witness a supervillain battle, but you will witness Homelander lifting a fallen crane, and you see that's crazy enough that when they tell you, oh yeah, and he fought the supervillain the other day, you'd be like, oh, that seems plausible to me.
I mean, I saw Homelander boom through the sky at super speed. He was clearly going somewhere. Then I heard boom, bang, pow, bomb, kablam. Something fucking happened over there.
Yeah.
And I read this cool book about how the aliens are gone now. So,
yeah. Also, Herogasm is not just an exclusive party in the comics. It's a once-a-year scheduled event for all of Vought's people. And it's what's happening during the yearly Crisis crossover.
It's just a fucking orgy. It's great. I fucking love that.
It's not just an orgy, but that's a big part of it.
It's mostly an orgy.
Ironically, since they're related in the show adaptation, Homelander fucks Soldier Boy at Herogasm every year. Yeah, I know. There's a scene, I wish the show had included it. There's a scene where 2 of the characters shoot up with heroin that's been cut with Queen Maeve's pussy juice. Does that mean anything chemically? Nope, but they do it anyway.
Because they're debaucherous as shit. It is literally them being okay, it is Saturnalia for heroes. It's fucking insane.
I love when they fly down, led by Homelander, of course. I think he literally already has his dick out, or like
Yes, he
no
does.
pants on. And he just flies down. All right, everyone, let's fuck.
You know, like comic Homelander is a little easier to like sometimes.
Yeah, well, also, spoilers for a twist that is not in the show but is in the comic. Many of, but not all, of Homelander's worst deeds were actually done by an evil.
Wait, no, hold on. Can I do this in the fun way?
Let's see.
Or actually, should I just pitch it this way?
We should get going in a minute, though, because it's midnight.
Fuck that. Now, not fair, you're right. What if there was another person who looked like Homelander?
Yeah.
Who had most of the abilities of Homelander, but not all of them.
He had enough to pass as Homelander, let's say.
Yeah, what? And now he was very capable, but he looks like Homelander. What would you do with this guy?
Use him as a dummy Homelander.
You would definitely use him as a dummy Homelander. But like, do you put him in like a bunker somewhere? You just like keep him locked up?
You'd put him close to Homelander.
He would have to always be close to Homelander, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't work. You mean like the guy who always has his face covered?
Yep. In fact, there's a line, and it gets brought back at the end as evidence of that he was Homelander all along, a Homelander clone all along. I don't know if it was planned this far in advance, but I think it must have been because the foreshadowing is too good. Way earlier in the comic, there's a scene where they watch like a sex tape that, among other people, has Homelander and Black Noir in it.
Yes.
And Homelander is like, hey, let's switch mid-fuck. And he's like, come on, she won't even notice. Your dick's the same size as mine. Like, that was the first hint. All, like, back in, like, volume 1 of 12, they start hinting that.
Like, Black Noir is a non-flying Homelander.
I think he can fly, and he just has to pretend he can't as Black Noir.
No, because there's that time where he has to do something and he jumps out the plane and just crashes into something.
Oh yeah, but I think that didn't he crash into another plane?
Maybe. I don't think he can fly though. I mean, maybe.
I know that Black Noir's official power set doesn't include being able to fly, but I thought, if not flying, then heat vision, because I remember that the clone does have powers he has to pretend he doesn't to keep up appearances.
Yeah. The heat vision's the one he has to pretend. Flying's the one he doesn't have, and that's why he's the plane.
Yeah, wasn't he like their first? No, Homelander wasn't cloned. Okay. He literally, think of Ultraman from the newest Superman movie. He was comparable to Ultraman in terms of like clone who's only half baked, so he looks right and he's got the powers, but he's fucked up and
he's Superboy.
Yeah, except not Superboy. More like Ultraman from the movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, so actually the thing that almost for just a second almost makes you sympathize with Homelander is that when he finds this out, he has like a fucking crisis and he goes, wait a minute, all that stuff I did, like, because he has memory lapses, so they showed him photos and videos of him doing shit, and he's like, oh, I don't remember doing that,
but I'm sure I did it.
Yeah, so he says, I wouldn't have done the stuff I did if I hadn't seen video of myself already doing it.
He thought he was already a murderer, so he might as well just fucking go and murder some shit.
Yeah, like he hits for a minute.
So go and fucking commit more sexual crimes.
Like, yeah, that's kind of the difference between him and the version from the show is that he thinks for a minute that there's a world out there where he didn't turn into this.
Yeah, like comic Homelander is more about corruption and possibility than inherent Adolfness.
Yeah. Whereas, I mean, I wouldn't say inherent, because in the show they do make it very clear that there's a like, had he been raised by normal parents, he would have grown up to be a fairly normal guy.
Fair.
Or I mean, maybe he still would have done something fucked up, but like he wouldn't have started from a position of I am a god among mortals.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He might have eventually come to that conclusion on his own, because some Chronicle, he might have done a Chronicle, but
I am the apex predator.
My dad and I quote that like once a day, talking about our dog. I wish they did something in the show with Ryan. Oh yeah, that's a big change from the comics too, is the fact that in the comic, the official version of Becky or Becca, depending on the version's death, is actually true. Whereas in the show, it was a twist at the end of season 1 that no, she's actually alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually what happened in the comic, the way Butcher found out is, his wife, I know. So Becky suddenly is acting different, like flinches at every little sound, fucking doesn't want him to touch her shoulder or whatever. And he doesn't understand, but he's like, all right, she's going through something. She'll talk to me about it when she's ready. And so this goes on for like a month or two, or maybe longer than that. Who knows? And all of a sudden, he's asleep one night and he hears this squelching sound. And he turns over and turns on the light. A super-powered fetus that she was impregnated by when she was raped has ripped itself out of her womb and is floating there trying to kill him. And he winds up grabbing the nearest lampstand and just bashing its head in, because even though it's super-powered, it's still weak enough that he can do that. But he has a scar on his arm, like throughout the whole show from its heat vision, like a little two-pronged snakebite-shaped scar. So he beats this fucking thing to death before thinking about it, and then realizes, oh my god, that came out of my fucking wife. And then from there learns what happened and learns what Homelander he thinks is like. And
in other words, there is no fun fucking B plot with children. There is just Butcher who has lost everything and beaten a baby to death.
Yeah, Ryan's comic counterpart got his head bashed in with a lampstand as like a 2-month fetus.
Yeah, like absolutely different, and it makes Butcher a whole different beast.
Yeah, or similarly, he loses terror. I mean, in the latter half of the show of the comic, but like not near the end. And the terror, because that's in the comic, one of the things that really sends him down the path of darkness is that one of the Supes, implied to be Jack from Jupiter, but never said explicitly, kills his dog. And he just decides that Jack did it, even though it could have been any of them. And like literally guts him like a fucking fish with a knife, like slowly. And Jack's freaking out, trying to like beg for mercy, and he just goes, "Don't! I'm not here. I'm somewhere else watching this happen. This isn't me."
But like you got to think of it in like a fucking deep accent. No, like just like a fucked up Cockney accent. I'm not it.
And he just keeps like monotone asking, "Why'd you kill my dog, Jack? Why'd you kill my dog? Why'd you kill my dog, Jack? Why? Why'd you kill my dog?"
It's very John Wicky.
Yeah, he does it for like 10. I mean, we don't see all of it, but like he does it for like 10 fucking minutes. He makes this guy's death slow.
Don't we just see the like talk bubble go on for a while?
We see like the first stab, and then it cuts to the others watching, and the bubble goes on that panel.
Yeah, like, why'd you kill my dog? Why'd you kill my dog?
Yeah, it's funny that Jack from Jupiter's only appearance in the show is that one of the porn actors in one episode is dressed like him.
That's wild.
And he's credited as like Jack from Jupiter parentheses porno.
I did not even fucking catch that. Oh my god.
I didn't until the end credits. But then I went back and I'm like, yeah, he is wearing that yellow jumpsuit.
It's just Jack from Jupiter. Huh.
I just love that line. I quote that line all the time. You can't watch porn while the sun's out.
My god.
For some reason, a character watching porn is way funnier if they're not even jacking off. They're just like sitting there fully clothed, drinking a beer.
Bro, I am not going to blow up the spot, but I'm just gonna say there is a person that my father knew. Who he would like just invite the bros over, just to like come hang out as bros do. And so like we're all sitting around having a beer or something. Except he don't got the game on. He just
Yeah,
like actually takes his fucking TV out and like no, hold on. He's got like the weird subscriptions to all the porn channels, so he just casually throws this shit on TV.
I mean, that's like a stag party
mixed
tradition,
shit.
supposedly, but I've
What?
never understood it there either.
I mean,
Like, I don't get going to strip clubs, honestly. Like, hey, you want to go get boners together?
I mean, to be real, that's a bit American. Why can't why do we have to isolate ourselves for our sexuality and make it such a privatized thing? I don't
I'm not
know.
saying it is. I'm just saying that of all the activities I like to do with my homies, getting a boner and then just sitting and not jacking off with it.
Well, you get a lap dance.
Yeah, I know. And like, yeah, let's get blue balls together, or not in our pants, maybe.
I'm to be clear, I haven't done this. To be very fucking clear. But like you guys do realize some of the people who go to strip clubs do engage in other services offered by the strip clubs.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
that makes it make more sense.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like
I don't know if I've told this. I think I've told you the story, but I don't think we were on stream. But fuck it, I'm an open book. So one time, I was looking for something to, use. I don't think I've even had my pants off yet. I was browsing, and I think I was looking for like maybe not a particular video, but a particular star. So I was venturing to a few different sites, and I was on one of the ones where it's like, it's not super mainstream like Pornhub, but like fairly mainstream. Like it's mostly like normal porn on there.
Listen, Tim Robinson probably named it in that one bit. I know these names better than I know the name of my own father. Yeah.
Yeah, like Spank Bang or whatever, or XNXX or whatever the fuck that one's called.
Keep going.
The point is, I'm looking for a normal ass porn video, okay? Something that like adults, like with functioning brains, will be into.
You're really telling this on stream. Go on.
And I do not click on it. I do not even glance at it a second time. But in the little like fucking videos, other videos, there is a video titled "Baking Brownies with Shit." And the thumbnail's just a still from it of like an empty mixing bowl. Like it's not porn. Not only did I not click that video,
it's the algorithm. The algorithm got you. You're exposed.
You can't get the algorithm on an incognito tab, especially not on a website you don't have an account on.
Fun fact, I guess the algorithm's based from that individual session, like a ChatGPT interaction.
Well, also, keep in mind, this was back when algorithms were a little more primitive. This was like a long time ago this happened.
Okay.
Not only did I not click that video, I didn't click the video I was looking for. I didn't masturbate. I closed my tabs and I sat in a dark corner and reconsidered my life for a few minutes. I don't want to know how literal that title was, because maybe he means like baking brownies and shit. Like maybe I misread it and it was "and shit" as in like, baking brownies and whatever, and not like baking brownies with shit. Or maybe by shit he just means like whatever random shit is in his cupboard. These are the things I tell myself so that I can sleep at night.
Have you ever researched up the video?
No. I don't want to see it or think of it again. The fact that I don't remember what website is on should speak to how much I don't want to fucking think about that. Because I made sure to never visit that website again, and now I don't remember what it's called.
This is a good time to remember, folks. One of our Patreon tiers, we are adding making Larry watch porn clips as long as they're straight, because we don't want to force him into something he's not comfortable with yet.
Yet.
Glad you caught that.
God damn it. Fine, but this better not awaken anything in me. I once. Now, sexuality is a lot more complicated than this, but I once did an experiment on myself as a teenager. It can be whatever you want it to be now. I don't want it to be. Anyway, I conducted an experiment. I was like, I've been attracted to women since I was a little kid. Like, I didn't understand why I loved the boob scenes in Animal House.
What in
But
the
I
name
knew
of
I
Kinsey
fucking
spectrum is going on right now? Go on.
What?
I said, what in the Kinsey spectrum is going on right now?
Nothing like that. So when I was a kid, I saw Animal House, and I'm like, oh, I like looking at those fucking boobies. I don't understand why because I'm 6, but I fucking like looking at them. So I always felt that way about women. I never felt that way about men. But when I was like a teenager, I was like, well, there's nothing morally wrong with being gay, bisexual. All right, so I'm going to conduct a test. I'm going to sit for a minute, and I'm going to think about gay sex, and I'm going to ask myself if it arouses me. And I did, and I sat for about a minute thinking about gay sex, and I was like, it does not arouse me. And then I just moved on with my life.
I do like how, for this logic to be sound, there's a definitive image of gay sex, and you're like, all right, I am picturing gay sex.
Well, I conjured up a few.
Okay.
Like, oh, here's doggy style. Oh, they're blowing each other. Like, I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, I guess I admire that guy's physique. He probably worked hard to get that muscular, but it's not doing anything for me downstairs.
God forbid you start with a kiss, you fucking.
I'd seen gay kisses before in movies. I was like, have fun.
But
have fun and don't fucking smell bad. Same rules for straight kissing.
I don't know. I mean, everyone smells bad.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem.
People do not smell good.
Anyway, I should go check on what's... Oh, yeah, by the way, we can talk about this more next show, but I got the new Lego Batman.
I built a Lego bonsai.
Hell yeah, Borler. Oh, also, by next show, I will have seen the pilot episode of DS9. Only the pilot, but I will have seen it.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because I only got 3 left of Next Gen before DS9 comes up. Because I'm doing it air date order. I'm not finishing one season or whatever. I'm mixing and matching.
Yeah, you're in the fun zone now where you're...
It's going to be annoying because I know that they didn't do the same HD remaster for DS9 that they did for Next Gen, so the fucking picture quality is going to drop like a fat kid on a seesaw.
I'm saying I got ways. All I'm saying.
Oh, no, it's not the quality on Paramount. It's that for Next Gen, they did a from the camera negative remaster of every episode.
Got it.
For DS9, they still upscaled it to HD, so it'll still look all right, but it's not remastered from the fucking negative like the original.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, well, the reason why... Do you know why they didn't? I learned this from the wiki.
Because Cisco's black?
No. They did it with the original series first.
Expensive?
No. Well, I mean, I'm sure that didn't help, but... So they did it with the original series, and it was relatively easy because all the editing for the series was done on film in addition to being shot on film.
Oh.
They did have to fucking recreate some of it with CG just because of degradation and or looking like dog shit. But then for Next Gen was shot on film, but it was edited on tape, which meant that doing the remastering from the camera negative required them to essentially redo all of the editing and effects.
That would be a lot.
And it was. And they did it for Next Gen, but the expense for it meant that they hesitated to do it for anything afterwards.
It is worth it for DS9, though.
Yeah, well, honestly, with Next Gen, because it looks so good, sometimes you catch stuff you're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think of.
It's pretty rare, because they were good about it, but, there was once where Picard steps up to where he's supposed to be standing, and I know that's where he's supposed to be standing, because there's a pink dot on the rug.
Oh, Picard.
It was also shot in a very slightly different aspect ratio than it aired in, because that happens. So very, very rarely you'll get like a tiny bit of a boom mic on one side because it wasn't supposed to be visible.
Ew. That's ugh.
It's only for like a second, and it's whatever. Like,
I don't want your big dangly boom in my face.
yeah. With the original series, you get a lot of but Kirk magically grew a beard for 1 second while the stuntman was doing that stunt.
Don't worry about it.
Or like a guy gets thrown into a wall and breaks through it, and it's like, oh wow, I didn't realize the interior walls of the 23rd century spaceship were made of drywall, but they are.
But they are.
Anyway, I love this shit. It reminds me of the fact that real humans made this art. I find the little mistakes charming. I find it charming that in TOS there's literally no fucking logic to how stardates work.
Yeah. It's just whatever the fuck you want. Listen,
it's still rough in later Trek, but they tried to make it kind of work.
I'm sure a human made this art, but a human made the Holocaust.
Did he, though? Is Hitler the same kind of person as us?
Remember, folks, they're all the same kind of people as us.
Yeah, I know.
The banality of evil is that the person next to you could gladly see you shipped off to a camp as long as it didn't upset their senses and sensibilities.
True.
The average American would gladly go along with fascism as long as it did not interrupt their day-to-day lives.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense. We disavow damn straight. Like fucking Jesse Wells had that line about DuPont where he's like, as long as the food don't stick. Like, we'll tolerate any kind of toxic bullshit as long as the non-stick pan works.
Pomphead kick 'em.
Anyway, good night, everyone. But before we go, like the stream and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. I'm thinking about throwing us on Twitch as well because I had to reuse my Twitch account the other day and I forgot that I had it. We could probably get decent views on Twitch. Dab your penis after you take a whiz. Trust me, it helps. And I'm going to go get a drink and a snack and probably play more like a Batman. Good night, everyone.
Bye.